I'm sorry, you probably can't even hear me. I didn't even unmute myself. I'm so bad at this
I
stuff.
was trying to give you some visual
I'm
clues.
so bad at this stuff. Oh my god.
Uh,
Oh my god. I'm so bad. Okay.
uh,
Can anyone hear? I fixed it. I fixed it.
I'm not picking you for charades. I was trying to give you some visual clues. All right, let's. Full screen.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that, you guys. All these technical difficulties will go away someday. I think.
Wait,
I think.
yeah, sure.
But anyways,
You muted yourself again.
I did. I muted myself again. No, I did not. No, they can hear now. Oh my god. Did I mute myself again?
Again, oh god, it was.
I did, huh? Is
You
it?
know
Are
what?
we
Thank
good
you for
now?
the laughs. I appreciate
Are
it.
we good now? We're good now, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Alright, guys. So I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry all about the technical difficulties. Hopefully everything works now. Um, sorry for that long wait, but we have a my friend Isuka. So if any questions or anything, let us know and introduce ourselves. I'm sorry, introduce yourself. There you go. What a
Uh,
rough start.
yeah, don't worry. It's pretty. It can be bad sometimes. I did a
Mhm.
recording with 4-star TCG Ethan,
Mhm.
and yeah, I mean, I couldn't barely figure it out. So don't worry. Mine was pretty bad. But yeah, what's up, guys? It's Ahsoka, or you guys can call me Mike. So I've been in the community for a long time, and then I took a hiatus, just like the name where my anime comes from. You know, you got Hunter x Hunter, or hiatus x hiatus, if you're familiar with uh, Togashi. So I started collecting in 2012. I got back into it. It was a complete like random chance at things that I got back into collecting, and then from there I was collecting for about 5 years, and then took nearly a 3-year break after selling my collection. And I wanted to get back into collecting, and so just like a lot of other folks, they got back into the hobby during 2020, and yeah, it's been a wild ride. So that's kind of where I started really collecting, and then now, so that's kind of where I'm at now.
Perfect. They said that it's coming in double, as in there's echo. Okay, so is it fixed now, you guys? I just want to make sure you guys have the best audio. This is
Hmm.
cool. All right, well, they'll let us know. So,
Yeah.
Master Blaster wants to know, do you collect different cards?
So I do. I think most people know me for the EX series, and that's kind of
Mm-hmm.
where I really focused. But I do have a lot of cards here I brought from the bank and the storage unit. I figured that's something now that's changed. Actually, I see you have a lot in the background, but you talk about not having a lot at home, and you have to put a lot of stuff away just because things have increased so much in value. So I do have some cards. Like this here is a Gate Guardian from Yu-Gi-Oh. So this was actually something I purchased recently. It kind of reminded me of when I was a kid. My parents got me a Metal Raiders box. I don't remember whether it was first edition or unlimited, but this was something that I got as a kid. I actually pulled it from a box, and so that's why I went out and got that. So that's something different that I collect. Something else would be Final Fantasy. So Sephiroth from Final Fantasy. This is Wave One, kind of like the. I guess this would be more akin to Pokemon's no rarity, just because there's a difference between some of the printing and stuff like that. So like semicolons might be lower and a
Mm-hmm.
slightly different shade. So yeah, it's very small, but it's a big price difference, kind of like the no rarity. So those are other things that I've collected outside of just Pokemon. Hopefully that kind of answers what you were asking.
Thanks. Can you do you mind showing that again. I was trying to fix something real quick and it didn't go very well.
So this one, let's see. So this is Final Fantasy Opus 1. And so Final Fantasy 7 is something that was big for me as a kid. And so Wave 1, excuse me, I'm still learning about it. I have a friend that's been collecting these for a while. And so there's a difference between the pattern with these. It's kind of like a diagonal when you zoom in on it and you look at it, instead of it being like a checkered, like a checkers or chessboard, it's actually diagonal the way the holographic is. And then sometimes the character in the back, the silhouette's lighter. And most notably, though, is just the colons on it, or the semicolons. Instead of it being even with the word, it would be down low on the bottom, like it was like a underscore kind of. And so that's one card from something else that I collect. And then the Unlimited Gate Guardian from Yu-Gi-Oh's Metal Raiders.
Okay.
Just some different cards.
Okay, I'm gonna try to fix the echo. Give me 2 minutes, okay? I'm sorry about that, you guys. 1 second.
I wonder if it's me.
1 second. And apparently you're PokeGal and I'm you, so I gotta fix that real quick. I do not know why there's an echo.
Might be because I don't know. A lot of them seem to use headphones, so I don't know if the sound is coming back. So I can try to grab some headphones, but mine never really work that well. Yeah. Oh, you might be playing your own thing in the background. That's why.
I muted.
Might be echoing through the speakers. Possibly. Let me be back 1 second and grab my little Bluetooth headphones. All right. Let's see if this works.
That should fix the echo. Let me know if you're.
Thank you guys for being patient. Let's see if that fixes it, though. All right. Yeah. I bought these things and they don't work for what they intended to work for. They're supposed to be waterproof so you could swim, but as soon as you go underwater, they shut off. And really odd to use.
Okay, perfect. I think it should. I muted and it's fixed. It's just me. I'm so. Oh. Yes, the echoes. Oh, let's shout out. Hey, Swami. Hey, Peter. Hey, Master Black.
Oh yeah.
Adam. Naro. Hey.
Like Liam's name.
Perfect. Niles.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, you guys, for being. You guys are. I was a friend. My friend Ashley are talking in. The first thing was, I thought I said, in his I think he's back. Started collecting again. And they asked me, well, what happened? I said, I'm in no happen, but I will definitely ask him on the stream. Answer to himself, and coming from people are curious. What happened?
Yeah, that was kind of
what I think it was a couple of years ago. Happened what back in. Want to talk about it? That'd be great.
Yeah. So a few people have asked, and it's kind of, I guess it's easier to talk about it on a podcast or kind of interview thing. So The whole thing started. I don't know if you guys would prefer if I start from the beginning about how I got into Pokemon in 2012 because that kind of I guess that would help from there.
Yeah.
Mind if I kind of add that?
Yeah.
So in 2011, I just finished a school in the military and I got deployed. And so we were in Italy and we were stationed over there. And things politics wise happened, and we were supposed to go down to Africa and other countries, and we didn't go anywhere. So when I was over there, I ended up being stuck on the base, and I was bored out of my mind trying to find something to do. So obviously, I was like, I asked my then girlfriend at the time, I asked her, hey, can you buy me this? I'll send you some money. Buy me a 3DS, buy me like Mario Kart. I forget what other games. I think there's maybe a Zelda, um, Final Fantasy 1 and 2. And then I got Pokemon. And so while I was waiting for it to arrive, because things at the time were going on a boat and it took like 30 to 40 days to arrive, I started watching YouTube videos. And I actually came across SMG Quest. I don't know if you know who that one is. Okay, SMG Quest is pretty old. I don't know if anybody else in the community. Let me know if you guys know who SMG Quest is. He has a YouTube channel, and he was really back in the day one of the bigger people doing it. And I remember finding his video talking about I'm going to sell these 48 boxes and put a down payment on a house. These are boxes like first edition Neo Destiny. We're talking multiple boxes, and Deoxys in there, and he was selling all 48 boxes as a down payment on a house. Today, I mean, you talk about Deoxys and all those other boxes, you could buy a mansion with that much. I think you.
Oh,
I'll send you the video later. It's just the thumbnail alone. It's just this huge, just table full of Wizards of the Coast EX series boxes, and that's how I discovered it. I was trying to find a video on the game, trying to watch things and get into it because I didn't have it. So I found that I was like, these are worth money. And I was like, they kept producing this afterwards. So I went down, like this rabbit hole of looking through stuff. And while I was deployed, you get a lot of money and you're tax free. So I just kept buying stuff. I kept sending it home. My parents were like, why do you keep buying this stuff? What's going on? So I bought for like 6 months straight, and I had a lot of money after I got back. And so basically, after I got out, I had a foot injury that required a surgery. And so that's part of it as well, because, I got into it, and that was something that helped me kind of get through. It was Pokemon. I wanted to open up a gym and do a bunch of other things. And physically, I wasn't quite in the same place that I was. So I just kept focusing on Pokemon. I kept enjoying it. I love the chase. I love the hunt. It was fun. I got to know a lot of people. And so I basically started selling and collecting full time and paid my way through college with it. And basically, at some point, I kind of fell into this dark place where I just wasn't really happy with things. Being who I was, being known for being very physical and doing a lot of these very demanding things, I gained like 100 pounds. And it seems to be something that was common with a lot of other interviews where I've heard Cool Trainer Ryan, Poke Radar talking about using Pokemon as a way to kind of deal with when you're depressed or going through dark times. They'll bring you back to that nostalgic place. And so for me, Pokemon was really something that I could focus on and I could excel at. I was, by the videos that a lot of you guys probably know me from, I found so many collections, and that was maybe a quarter of what I found. There's boxes that I opened that were not on camera. Same thing with a lot of friends. It wasn't what it was today with social media. And so I pushed myself into Pokemon because, it helped me feel better. I was paying for school with it. I really felt good about where I was going. And, long story short, I ended up having some other difficult stuff in my life. At that point, I was grossing like 7,500 to 10,000 a month with Pokemon, all going to
wow.
school full time. And yeah, 2015 or so. And so I took out a PayPal credit card. And I had a shop. Some of you might have bought from it called Warlord's Den in Lebanon, Pennsylvania. I don't know if you ever bought any boxes from there.
When I was buying boxes, I was at art shop.
Hmm?
That's how. Ever I didn't. Well, except now.
Yeah.
Back then.
There was a lot of places out there. Warlord's Den in Lebanon, Pennsylvania was something I found by doing Google searches, and they had about a case of everything. I bought a Neo Genesis first edition box, Neo Revelation, Neo Discovery. I picked up a base set, and basically I used that $10,000 thing credit card because I was like, I'm grossing all of this, and the only thing limiting you back then If you talk to SM Pratt or a few others that were involved, you could crack open whatever vintage box you wanted, grade it, and almost instantly double or triple your money. The turnaround times were better. The grading may have been a little easier. Things back then were just it was so much easier to make money. And so the only thing limiting you was your capital. And so basically I took that out and I opened up all these boxes. I had 20, 30 sealed EX and Wizards of the Coast boxes at that time. And then I just fell into this depression and I stopped collecting. I stopped doing anything. And so from there, I kind of I started selling off my collection little by little to pay for things. And I stopped trying to flip and actively do stuff. So I kind of had a lull, even though I already had a bunch of cards at PSA. And then, at that point, I got to my final semester. And, since I didn't manage my store, it's kind of hard to manage a store and collect at the same time. And so I didn't manage it all very correctly. And so by the time I got to my final semester, I already started off selling my collection. I sold off a PSA 10 Charizard Gold Star and a few others to pay for my my final semester. And then in that final semester, I had my car break down. I mean, one funny story was I was driving to school and it stopped 11 times. So it just, I kind of got to the point where I had it, I had all these cards here and I just had this pile of money and I was just unhappy with a lot of things. And so, you have the ability to solve all of your issues. And I've been so focused on Pokemon that I neglected every other aspect of my life. And so when I kind of got to that point where I had to sell off to pay for my final semester, I got my car fixed. I had an engine replaced and it cost like 3 or 4 grand at the time, which is a lot. I kind of just got to that point where I was like, I have the ability to pay off all my debt, my medical bills. I can open up a gym if I wanted to at the time. I started getting back into working out and getting healthy again. And so I just decided that I needed to change. And so I just decided to sell everything off and make a drastic change in my life. I kept looking at the cards and I kept saying, I'm stuck here with these cards. And they kind of took on a kind of like a negative connotation or kind of like a reminder, a reflection of like how much, even though I built that collection and had paid for school, looking at the way I managed it now, it was very bad. And so it just kind of reminded me of how badly I had messed things up. And so I just decided to just get rid of it all and then buy a new car, pay off the debt, and just work on the other areas, which, I'm grateful for it. I don't have debt. So I'm happy. And that's kind of why I just, what you deal with, as for your profession, I've heard you say that you don't like to mention it, but yeah, people don't know how to manage their money and their credit and things like that. So
No, not at all. Not at all. And that's definitely my profession. That's
yeah,
exactly what I do with. Not
yeah,
at all. Not at all.
mhm,
But I'm really glad that things worked out for you. I completely understand.
mhm,
We talked about this. You did what you have to and back
mhm.
then at that time.
Yeah,
And I know that you're more stable now. So you're back to collecting some
yeah,
cards. And I know that you have some cards that you do want to collect first. And that's what one of the cards that I
mhm,
put as one of my is
yeah,
thumbnail. Um as you
yeah,
guys know, hopefully know, he really likes to collect EXs from Deoxy or back then, more of PSA cards, right? Not just raw, but more
yeah.
PSA graded cards. Care at all?
Um, it's kind of hard to say just because back then, I think a lot of people don't really understand the differences between back then, how things were to now. I was talking with a friend and we were looking at XY evolutions. It's really big right now. And I had access to somebody locally who was a mentor to me and helped me kind of run my own eBay store online. And I opened up his cases and I would open up mine and I would get a discount on cards. I never really charged him for my labor just because he was a good friend. He helped me so much. But he also helped a lot of other collectors as well. I don't know if anybody here bought from uh, hey, you're welcome, Gerardo. It was nice to hear other people share their stories about it as well. And I think it's the more you talk about it, the better it is. And as a veteran as well, like you kind of a lot of people don't like to talk, and the more people talk about things, the better it is to help and to learn. You can fix issues that you have. Um, Coming out. Oh, nice. It's good to hear, Swami. But I don't know if anybody had bought from Ed Merler. Type his name in chat. Super great guy, great shipping, but he helped Jim at Pokemon actually with a lot of his raw cards. Because back in 2012 or 13, he opened up 2 cases of Skyridge and sold the cards raw.
Wow.
So
Back then,
yeah,
Skyridge is very much different now. I'm gonna remove the pin because I thought it would work, but it's not.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, Ed Merler had helped me, and I graded cards back then, like Evolution's Charizard PSA 10. I actually graded one myself in a PSA 10, out of 10 cases. And back then, you were looking at $100 per card. Excuse me, was a big flip. You pay 25 plus $10 grading. Making $100 profit is great. Now, that's people forget about that. Making $25 a card on several cards adds up over time, but with PSA it takes forever. And so I always flipped cards quickly because I was always looking to build the collection. And so I don't think I ever stopped and appreciated raw cards or binder cards back then.
Let's go through the
But yeah,
questions quick.
okay.
Got a couple. Really glad the audio is fixed now. Most of the questions like, I can't hear you.
Can you guys hear me, or is it
Oh no,
PokeGal
it's
that you guys
me.
are having
It's me.
difficulty?
It's the host, which is
Okay.
even worse. Okay, so
Yeah.
SGR said, SMG Quest was charging high prices back then. Was afraid of EX dragging. Really?
Wow. I don't
I did
remember
not
his
know
prices.
that.
I wasn't familiar.
Well, A through college crazy. Hey, Gold Star Squad.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service. What's your favorite English and Japanese set? That's
English and Japanese, or English or Japanese?
and Japanese.
Okay. So I guess if I were to think about Japanese, I would say Versus series. I was actually going for a complete PSA 10 set previously, and so I cracked open probably 2 boxes worth of each back then. And I love the concept of it. The Obviously Tyranitar was there, Terran's Umbreon, Lance's Charizard being a common card, because I don't think there was uncommons in that set. I don't know if you opened that one, but I think there's just holos and then commons.
For the VS series?
Yeah. Hmm?
What VS series?
Yeah, there's a Versus series
Oh.
for Japanese.
No, I don't really collect Japanese cards.
Okay. Oh, that's another thing. I'll put it in here, but I think, oh my God, you've got to check it out. The artwork is there's a
Yeah.
Flareon, an Umbreon that just have this amazing artwork in it, and it's completely different than most things that you see.
I
The
saw.
English one though, right?
I saw a couple because there's a streamer that likes Japanese card. It's basically royalty gaming, and he's showed off some
Okay.
of his collection. But that
Mhm.
I think I just went full on with in collecting English that I've never set aside for Japanese cards, and it's already financially heavy on the English side. I don't think I could both. Till now, I have not been able to. And I think
Mhm.
with some collectors, I'm pretty sure you've noticed that they either collect Japanese or English. It's some collectors I know collect both, but that's only like very few.
Yeah, I don't know how that's financially feasible. I mean, at least
Exactly.
before it wasn't feasible before, and then I think Wake Run Collapse used to do Japanese openings. He would get like I think a case in Japan is 20 boxes, and I would watch his YouTube videos. He would break open 20 boxes, complete a set, and then sell to the community. He monitored it a little bit better so that people wouldn't take advantage of it. And so he was always just a really nice and humble guy, and it was just about the cards and just I think it was almost ASMR before ASMR was kind of a thing, just
Uh
really
huh.
nice guy, and yeah. I don't think it was possible back then to really collect both to any degree where you could really complete those sets. It would just be unimaginably expensive.
If you say back then, it's probably worse now.
It's definitely a lot worse now. Oh, for English, I guess for English I can showcase. We're talking about a one set in particular. It would be Unseen Forces. So Unseen Forces is my absolute favorite set. I've probably opened up 4 boxes in total for this set, and I think in the past I've graded most of these myself. Have been trying to find my original certifications, even if they're older. I don't particularly mind the 2 cert versus 4 or 5 certification debate. I know that most of the cards that I had found back then were from a lot of collectors. You know, like one guy locally, actually, I bought a. We had from first edition base to Heart Gold Soul Silver. So one of my favorite cards here. I think one of the few cards with 4 attacks. A Tyranitar, and Steelix, and Typhlosion, and then Persian. So I have the rest grading, but that would be my favorite set. What was one of your favorite finds as far as all time, like collections or boxes or stores?
I said this a couple of times, but I have friends. So one of my friends was selling
Mhm.
base booster boxes for 250 back then. 250, and I bought two. It's in my storage now. Still, I haven't opened. And
Mhm.
he had five of them. I bought two,
Jesus.
and he said I'm having such a difficult time selling three, and he begged me. He says, "Just buy it, 250." And I think he even said, "If you buy all three, I can do 200." And I said, "No, I'm good. I only bought two."
Mhm.
So that was a steal, but yeah. But believe it or not, I actually went from a local card shop, I think October, and I got this generation box for only back for me
Jesus.
back in October, a couple of months.
Yeah.
Thought that was it was for 200.
Mhm.
Goes I don't price gouge, says I'll do it for, it was a great steal. That's what I
Yeah.
remember. Um
Yeah.
I if I knew, I would have bought all five.
Mhm.
There's a I was
Who
buying a
would have?
lot of collections, huh?
Mhm. I'm saying who would have known though? I mean, when I
Yeah,
sold the stuff at the at 2017 and with PWCC, I mean, nobody would have known that things could have gone any higher. And then even I mean, even people are saying that today, and it's for me, I don't know about you, but 350,000 for a Charizard. I don't know if anybody in chat can really imagine this card going for 800,000, $1,000,000. I mean, I find it hard to believe, but it's entirely possible. And that's how a lot of people always feel at the time, like this stock or this house or this card will never go up anymore. But in reality, none of us really know. It's hindsight's 2020.
yeah,
2020 is 2020 now.
yeah. I think about 2 years ago, I probably be honest with one. If someone asks, "What do you like to do?" I wouldn't say I collect Pokemon cards. I would be like, "Well, I
Mhm.
like to do other stuff. I like to, uh, I like to read. Well, I do like to read, but I wouldn't say, I wouldn't proudly say I collect
Yeah,
Pokemon cards. Now I do. Now I just spam my Facebook
yeah,
that, hey, I collect Pokemon cards. I'm cool. But I did
well,
not know. If I knew, if well, just of course, if anybody did
yeah,
back then, I'm very proud with what I have now, and I'm pretty proud too.
yeah.
So you was selling relieving at the time. Did you get to a good place? What bought you back?
Uh,
Hobby.
so selling, uh, is he doing it in like the Facebook chat or is it like a Discord? I was looking on the
Uh
chat to see the question. Um,
oh, it's all the way. It's a little bit more up. We have a lot of
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's my first time doing this. I'm always trying to find the questions. It was going through. Yeah, I think for me, the way I do things is that I just kind of just go with it. Like whatever it is, like I just 100%. Like when I was going to school, first, I thought I was going to be a math teacher. And then I saw the Marine recruiters there, and I was like, "Oh, this sounds interesting." I work out, I like exercising, and I asked them like, "What is the hardest job that you have?" And they were like, "Okay, we have recon." And I was like, "Okay, let's go." And I was just like, I just took off and I went with it, you know. And it's maybe I'm a little less like that now, but it's like my way of doing things was just I go 100%. I might plan and talk about things a lot, but when I decide on something, I'm just all the way. I just go for it. And so for me, selling it was it was definitely hard and something that I did quickly so that I maybe didn't think about it because it's just like you're just frustrated. And got to that point, and you're just like, I'm just done. And later on, I started looking back at it as the whole time I was playing Pokemon Go from 2016 till probably a few months into the pandemic, I was playing Pokemon Go. I'm like level 40. Well, now they have levels above level 40, but previously we used to call it like 40 times two. Like you'd basically played enough to make your account, level 40 twice with the XP. So yeah, I was always involved with it. And I gave away all the cards that I had left. I kept a lot of like PSA 10 EX reverse holos like Charmander, Squirtle, and I kept some pre-releases and other cards and tins, and I just kind of gave those away to the Pokemon Go community every time we had a Pokemon Go day. I would just leave it out there for the kids and the other, players to take. So I don't think I missed it because I was always playing Pokemon. I was playing Sun and Moon, played Heart Gold Soul Silver again. So I don't think I missed the cards quite as much until the pandemic came, and I had to. I was, like everybody else, I was trying to find ways to make money, and I found this box of like most of the wrappers that I saved from when I opened the boxes. I first got back into it. I was like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna make some money and I'll toss it into some stocks. And then I was looking at the wrappers. I sold like 30 or 40 Skyridge wrappers for like $1,000. Like to think
rappers.
that
Rappers.
they were damaged and I cut them as well. So if anybody tried to reseal it, it wasn't gonna work with it. But I made like 3 grand or more off of just wrappers. And so I still have more and I'll probably but like, yeah, the people can't afford the pack, so they're buying the wrappers, and that's literally how I got back into it. I was trying to find some stuff to put on. I was like, I'm gonna sell stuff on eBay again. And I found this box of wrappers, and I still couldn't believe it. Like the first night I put the wrappers on, I sold $500 worth. Somebody bought like a full set of Expedition, Aquapolis, Skyridge, and first edition Neo Destiny pack wrappers, and they paid me
Oh,
500 instantly. So that's kind of how it all got started back. Yeah. So don't throw away your wrappers if you open vintage.
now I know. I usually just put them away. I have a couple of wrappers just sitting here, not because I was planning to sell them, it's because I think I was really lazy, so just box. now I know. I did not know that. Oh.
Yeah. Just be
So it's
careful when you
probably
sell it though.
yeah.
People do try to sell reseal stuff. And so for me, I just cut on the back. I'll cut like the little tab, or I'll cut like a
Uh,
snippet on the bottom. Yeah. So that way
uh,
people can't reseal it.
it's great. Great idea. And probably old boxes too. That I know.
Mhm.
That I know. There's some people that buy boxes, open boxes, but I did not know there's a market for wrappers.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Thank
mean, I don't know
Andrew.
what's up.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, no, I was just you were saying Andrew, and didn't see the question wherever it was.
Geraldo says, "Thank you for sharing your depression. That was deep as someone battles it, but big helped you get out of the mode."
Yeah, like I said previously, is it Gerardo or Gerardo? I don't know if it's Spanish or if it's just the other
Probably
way
both.
pronounced.
It's
But
way that I pronounce is a little bit different.
yeah, so for me, when I after I sold, for me, one of the things that helped me most was mindfulness meditation and journaling. So you can find whatever type of meditation helps, but it kind of, there's when I was taking courses for my prereqs, there was things talking about CBT, like cognitive behavioral therapy, kind of learning to deal with the way that you think about things and kind of learning like, right now people are dealing with anxiety and kind of learning, you're not going to have a heart attack. That's just you responding to this, kind of getting comfortable with how your body reacts. Also just start journaling, learning to be grateful for what you have. So it was like mindfulness meditation in the morning and then write down 3 things I was grateful for. And you just start to learn to like flex your mental muscle, because it's easy to look in the mirror and be like, oh yeah, I'm seeing progress change. I see the scale change. But with mentally or with, education or getting stronger that way, it's kind of hard to see um, how you're making progress. But to me, I noticed that the more I did that and the more frequently I did it, I started noticing that anytime I would have, any negative thoughts or, I would start feeling down, I would be able to quickly get over it because, you're sort of exercising. It's like you're kind of learning, oh, I'm not really fatigued. I can do this. And so for me, those 2 things really helped make me improve a lot and sort of mentally put me on that right track.
Yes, I absolutely agree with everything you say, especially absolutely. But every night, by the way, every night. And I
Good
would
at
join,
night.
yeah, I would join Zoom meetings to, yeah, they have Zoom meetings now, especially what's going on right now. Absolutely free. If you're interested, let me know, Gerardo. I can send you some link. Oh, hey, Omi Poke is here, you guys. Oh, will you be looking at Ghost Star for collection again? That's.
Oh, that's
Are you willing
oh
to?
my
Are
god,
you
that's
willing
like a
to pay? Because I'm pretty sure
I
a Jetmint 10 Rayquaza was selling for. Well, I don't know if it was sold, but I know that person. That person was asking for 28,000. That card.
oh, that is it has some sales between 35 to 45,000. At
It
this
went
current
up.
moment,
Oh my god.
yeah, it went up. I had a chance to buy it at 20, but I kind of I the person and I haven't we're playing like phone tag, and so I haven't had a chance to really get a hold of them, and so I've been trying to buy the card still. So I'm trying to go after a Rayquaza. But as far as a gold star set, I don't think at this point it's financially feasible or even responsible because the set is like 250 grand at this point. And so there's 5 or 6 sets. Those of us that are EX collectors, we've kind of been keeping track of who has the sets and who has some of the low pop cards. So we kind of know where things are. And so I've just been focusing on the EX series. So I got the holy grail of the EX series here. This is Milotic from Emerald. This is, I mean, just stunning artwork. But this is also a Pop 8 card. I believe this is the lowest population EX card out there. And so I picked this up. Price was definitely, I think it's the record price or it tied the record price. But I'm going for the EX series first, and I'm knocking those out. I have a deal that I've been working on and paying off. And so hopefully by the end of the year, I will have the 139 EXs and PSA 10 complete.
Wow.
So
Give me an estimate of how much you paid for everything. I mean, you don't have to disclose. If you don't feel
previously
comfortable.
or what I'm working on now?
Total, total. When you said that you will have a complete set, total, how much you spent.
So yeah, I don't mind getting into too much.
Okay.
So I actually have an Excel tab. I'm not going to show it, but I actually keep track of everything with the cost and things like that. Like the way I keep track of things is I use like I'll share my sheet with anybody if they want it, but I basically just show like I have a transaction thing and it's linked to income and then um, sales basically where it's I can put in, say I spend 2,000 on jungle and then I grade those and they come back. I can plug in 3,000 in sales and it'll show me that in jungle I'm up $1,000 basically. So I can see what sets I do well on and what I've made profit and what I'm still lagging on. So EX series so far I've spent God, I spent almost 50,000 so far with the EXs. And I've completed a lot. So I've got the Team Rocket set. So I've got this mostly done. Unseen Forces, which is the most expensive EX set if you're just talking about EXs. Um, so yeah, and then I also have a lot more at PSA. So I really went hard with this, and that's kind of like, I know we talk about financial stuff, and that's kind of a question where I see a lot of advice being given, and I don't know if, first of all, you can't really tell the market. Who knows what's going to happen?
I
And so,
absolutely agree. I absolutely agree.
yeah,
Absolutely.
it's
Absolutely.
so financially, I think I will be able to afford the EX series, but the Gold Stars is a lot more of a challenge just because of how much more notoriety they have and then the price. So it's easier in some aspects because you're making a bigger purchase and you knock a card down. So percentage wise, you can complete a set faster that way. And the strategy is I'm following a 4-star TCG strategy. So if any of you guys want to complete a set, the best strategy is always to go for the most expensive cards first, because obviously they can go up higher later. And then you also knock them out first. And so that way, instead of waiting till the end and more people get in the hobby, they're going to be looking towards the highest card, the pinnacle card in whatever set that is. So the goal is always go for the most expensive or rarest cards first when you're grading, or just raw anyway. And so that's what I did for the EX. So most of it's knocked out at this point.
Do you think that strategy applies to modern cards?
Modern cards. I would say in certain sets, yes, it does apply. So I have anything here? I do have some modern. I've been grading modern and I enjoy it, but because that's what I got back into originally. So the YouTube, and then a lot of these. I've been stocking up on a lot of these full art rainbow rares here, Shining Legends, and this I'd say is one where that does really do that really applies, because Shining Legends has two cards in it where Celebi and Ho-Oh, or Celebi and Lugia, are promos, and they have a lower PSA 10 chance than the other ones. They're probably 30% versus the other ones are 50, 60. And so they're more expensive, harder to grade. And so I definitely would say that if you're going to go after certain modern cards, look at the PSA pop report, look at the prices, look at the character as well. And then with those, you determine, okay, this is a set that's got like 1,000 cards and it's not really moving, versus, Shining Lugia. You see 3 copies on eBay at a time versus maybe Shining Legends Mewtwo. You see like 10 to 30, 40 copies on eBay. So that would be where I would say, yeah, you can apply that rule to modern cards.
Thank you. And Omi Poki, the Karen's flares are Yas. The Morty 90.
Yes.
The Umbreon, Swami says, is probably the most beautiful Umbreon of all time and is Japanese. You know what card he's
Mhm.
talking about? That
Yeah. So Karen's Umbreon.
um the he just said the Umbreon Hollow is probably the most beautiful Umbreon of all time and it's Japanese exclusive. Don't really collect Japanese, so I don't know what card he's talking about.
Okay, I'll type it in our Discord thing. But so Karen's Umbreon is from the VS series, like we were talking about previously. And so Karen's Umbreon, each pack had a hollow in the VS series, and there was only 4 hollows per box, because it was like Fire versus Water, Grass and Lightning, and Fighting and Psychic, I think. Yeah, Grass and Lightning, Fighting and Psychic. And so you had a box of 10. You had a box which had 10 packs, but there was only 4 hollows. So you're almost guaranteed to get one of each. And Karen's Umbreon is in the Fire versus Water, which is the more expensive one, because Fire versus Water is Blastoise, Articuno, Gyarados, Charizard, and then the hollows, and Flareon as well. I don't want to forget Flareon. But then you've got the hollows where you've got Tyranitar, Umbreon, Murkrow, and Sneasel. So you had 2 really popular ones, and the other 2 were like meh. Yeah, I mean it's Murkrow. I'm not gonna. It's not that great.
Gotcha.
Honchkrow, yeah, it's a big old soul chicken.
Master Blasters, do you collect old sets or new sets?
Well, I collect both, new and old sets. So I've got modern here that I've showed you guys. I got the EXs as well. Outside of those, I have sent off probably 200 or 300 first edition Wizards of the Coast holos. Some of those came back, some are still grading. At this point, though, as much as I would like to collect everything, I would love to make binder sets. I would love to go for PSA 10 sets because for me, it's like I would love to collect those. It's just not financially responsible anymore to, or physically even possible to buy those sets anymore. So I really do have to limit myself with what modern sets I want and what vintage sets I want. So I collect both, but it's just prices are so extreme that and I'm getting older, so you can't just. I don't want to be like 70 years old and be like, yes, I completed it all, but I've spent my whole time doing nothing else.
That's true, but you will have a very nice Pokemon collection.
Yeah. Let's see.
Swami says, in my opinion. And
What,
I
what
think
is,
a lot of people agree with your opinion. Nice. I love
yeah.
Garly
Maybe
cards.
I love which one?
I'm just reading the comments on YouTube.
Okay. Yeah.
Only
What do you think of the
Pokey
arts?
says, if only
Lead
the
costumes?
legendary dogs didn't have this one scumbag ruining the gold cards, unseen forces would be in
Oh yeah.
much higher regard. Okay, I want clarification on that comment. What is this?
Okay.
What is this scumbag?
Um. uh,
You got me
okay.
hooked. I
So.
want I want to know the details now. You
Uh,
got me hooked.
oh, this is a hard one. So for full disclaimer, the seller was Card House EU on Instagram. So Card House EU is actually a friend of mine, and so that's why it's kind of like it's kind of a for full disclosure. Um, I obviously can't give full details because there's confidence. There's a Pokemon collector friend privilege, but uh, it's the story is somehow somebody got 5,000 gold stars from Unseen Forces, and they weren't from the boxes. So they all right.
No, I thought it was really fun. I really liked that comment. I just that's why I love doing these live Q and A's because they're such great
Yeah,
comment. Sorry,
yeah,
I've never heard of that guy before, so I'm gonna do my research after I get off.
he's got one of the most impressive collections out there. I mean, he shows it a lot, and it's very business wise. But so I ended up meeting him from when I was collecting the gold stars. I was going for the pop 5 packs, and so at the time he had probably 1,000 pop 5 packs that he had purchased. And so I bought most of those off of him. I think you'll see in a few YouTube channels or a few YouTube videos of mine that I opened those up. And that's how I was going after the PSA 10 Umbreon and Espeon Gold Stars because at the time there was only one Espeon and the owner was SMG Quest. And so me and another person named Gold Star were going for the first Gold Star set. And so me and him were both competing, and there was only one PSA 10 Umbreon Gold Star, which actually got graded by Charlie Urlacher, as he mentioned in another video. So
Yeah.
it's kind of funny how all these are connected.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. People in the Pokemon community, they know each other somehow, some way. Yeah, we're all
Yeah.
connected. Yeah.
Or we sold something to somebody, and it's coming
Yeah.
back around.
Yeah.
Which is nice though that it's going between us, and it's not going to some you know like Rally. I think I was talking about it before, like Rally.com or Rally IP. It's like they buy collectibles and they sell it as a share. So they bought a complete first edition base set in PSA 10 and then offered it like an IPO so people could buy stocks in it. And then they sold the Kangaskhan and all these other cards. So at least it's staying in the community, which is kind of nice. So I like that it's staying within us, or and then people come into the hobby versus trying to take it out of the hobby.
Correct.
Yeah.
Especially with some cards and more pricier cards. I
Mhm.
don't think. I think the high prices do deter. I think they're bought by true. That's just my. I'm sure there's some here, but I
Oh
don't
yeah.
see. I mean, I don't have a. Couldn't think of a reason why someone else or somebody would spend $1,000 on one simple PSA card. Just to flip. Maybe I could be wrong. Probably to invest. But I think
Invest,
the
yeah. I
chances,
hear a
yeah,
lot of that.
probably to invest. But maybe that's just that they just that last card to complete the collection. I could be wrong.
Yeah. And I hear it a lot though. A lot of people say that, I'm buying in this because it's also an investment on the side. So I mean, it's good because you can't just keep things insulated in the hobby. And so that's also helping other collectors, sell and grow their hobbies or not just Pokemon. People have other hobbies outside of it, and now they're like, oh, I sell duplicates. I can go collect Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, or like Yu-Gi-Oh and Final Fantasy. It's like you can collect other things as well with the amount of value that Pokemon has increased, and with new people coming in. So there's good and bad in both of it, but we'll have to see what the fallout is in another year. I don't think we can really tell with how volatile things are now.
Yeah, absolutely. Niles says, yeah, that's how it is. Nobody knows.
Mhm.
Geraldo says, yeah, nobody saw that coming, but all the best is bought so many. True. And
Mhm.
Omi says, I
Yeah,
still have all my old boxes and wrappers stonks. I like Omi.
yeah.
I'm
I
sorry.
it's
I'm having
surprising.
such a great time reading his comments. But hey, royalty.
It's funny. Mhm.
I still have my base set from Adam says I still have my base set Neo Gen wrappers hoarded since I was 10. Nice.
Dang, that's a
There
long
you go.
time.
That's some money there. Master says, hey,
Mhm.
royalty, the Silkman has arrived. I get that inside joke. Oh,
I don't get it. It's fine.
I love
Uh,
all these comments.
yeah.
Blazer OP, what do you think of new people jumping to the hobby, coming in and getting charged doubled or more from opening packs from flippers like the card economist?
Um,
Exploiting the fact they know. Oh my god, these comments are fire. All yours on that.
yeah. Oh man. There's good and bad to it. I try to look at both sides of it, and so like with the box breaking and everything like that, you have people that are bringing you things that you get a chance to have an unweighed pack, and even though it's being opened by somebody else, you get that chance. You're certain that that's there. But then you also have people like Z and G that sell it for pretty reasonable prices. I've talked to him before, and I know his cuts. And to me, his cuts are probably the cheapest out of anybody that's doing it. So the box breaks with people like Card Economist versus PokeRev, it's like he was selling 275 for first edition Team Rocket, and then you had Card Economist selling it for 365. I was like, in what world do you get a premium over PokeRev and you're charging $100 more per pack? And so to me, I think it's short lived that people are taking advantage. And I it bothers me when some people take those percentages and those cuts where it's like, you're just marking it up on these people. And to me, it feels like you're taking advantage of them. At least in my opinion, it feels like you take advantage of these folks who are either not knowledgeable or you're treating it like a gambling or a casino. And you're like, come on, come in, look at this. Look at this person's got this, or you'll get a PSA 10. So I think there's some sort of responsibility that has to be there for the breakers to be honest with the prices, and not only that they're charging, but that they tell their viewers that they're going to get. So it's good
Yeah,
and bad, but yeah, I
I,
just see it
I,
as
I
like
agree.
it's cool.
I
Yeah.
agree. And I think the people that buy from him, or I don't want to discuss too much, um, don't have other avenue to buy. And when someone flashes, hey, this card is 20,000, it just basically it makes people's it's just basically play on people. But in
Mhm.
reality, there's a lot of factors that falls into it. Just because a card was sold for last 12, like say 20,000, the card
Mhm.
really is that's the price that it's sold for. Because there's shoe bidding,
Yeah.
and we need to talk about buyouts. That's one of the questions I want to talk to you about. Um,
Okay.
Definitely
Yeah.
about that, but that was a funny
Mhm.
question. Blazer. Definitely don't want to go into much detail about him,
Yeah.
but that was fun. Nice card. It says
Yeah.
epic gold. Swami says melodic, most beautiful card. Tab Master Dang. Would love to see the Excel
The
sheet.
fabulous
Mine is a
Pokemon.
little lackluster. So
Hmm.
Niall Johnson says
Yeah.
impressive. Omi says I've spent too
Yeah.
long.
Maybe I'll
Big
do a video on
sigh.
that
That's a true
sometime.
sign of a true collector. What do you think of Leonhardt having a store and he is selling a first edition box for like $20? Master Blaster.
I honestly haven't heard. You could be playing like the telephone game where it's like, I hear from somebody else, and then that's what I think is going on. When in reality, oh, excuse me, I'm drinking like this kombucha thing, and like it's all fermented, so I keep getting like carbonated stuff coming up. But it's hard to know exactly. So if I burp on stream, guys, it's my bad. I try not to.
You don't have to worry. We had a lot of technical difficulties and these people still stayed, which I will
Yeah.
take that into consideration for the giveaway. I definitely will.
I know. I do got something
Definitely
as well
will.
for a giveaway, so I had something here extra. It's PSA Shiny
I
Jirachi,
definitely
so
will.
we'll be
I'll
involved and
forgive
give
you.
that away.
That's funny. um, do you
I
like
forget what we were
Leonhard?
talking about.
Do you like Leonhard? I'm a big
Uh,
fan. I'm a
I
big fan of him. True collector, does great things
uh
for the hobby. Yes, his videos are a little bit
yeah.
flashy
Uh,
sometimes, but very
yeah,
reactive. He's a very reactive guy, but I like him. No problem with it.
yeah. I mean, I like what he's done. I'll keep my negative comments to myself about it just because the Leonhardt squad is pretty strong, and it's like, like when you like somebody or you have like an idol, like you can't take any criticism about it. You'll be like, that's not true. When in reality, it's like maybe, perhaps, like there's possibility. So whatever my negative comments are, his positives far outshine it. And so to me, it's something I got to work on where I'm just like, oh, it's like a recipe. It's like, oh, that's good. It's like maybe you could use a little more of this instead of just appreciating that. It's like, that was delicious. That was 9 out of 10. It doesn't always have to be perfect. So Leonard to me is like, he's like 9 out of 10. The positive that he does for the community, he's
Yeah.
like, he brings new people in. The kids love him. It's not the target audience isn't you or I, it's the kids, and so he's done that. He's done the face cam, which has made it easier for us. The things that he's done, the way he's done things, his work ethic. I mean, it's all very impressive and inspiring. It's like, so whatever negative comments I have, it pales in comparison to the positive that he brings to the hobby and what he's done for my own collection, and for just Pokemon YouTubing in general. So I like what he's done, and I don't know, I can't really comment on it because I haven't seen it. But to me, I don't know how that store is going to function. Maybe he's taking whatever profits he's been getting from stuff and putting it into that stuff and hoping that it pays dividends later, or if it's just doing it generally to be altruistic and put on a great event. I can't tell, but it's financially risky to do that, and my hat's off to him because that would be. I mean, even if it's a publicity stunt, if you're thinking about it in the worst case, it's just a publicity stunt. The fact
Mm-hmm.
that he's going to do that and give some of these kids, and he's like taking this long to think about how to do it, like he's going to give some of these kids great moments to think back on, because you don't have these stores anymore. You can't go to these places. So, whatever, for the few people that he's going to help, he's going to make the biggest difference in the world for them. Those little kids, to go on a little sidetrack, one of my buddy, D Brews, the guy that made the poster for Gary's and Steve Aoki's giveaway for the foundation. He's the one
Yeah,
that
I
sold me
saw.
the Team Rocker. But he made a story and he gave away. These kids were trying to buy a pack, and Vivid's Voltage was like $6, and so he goes. The store owner, I guess, didn't try to make an attempt. Again, I don't know the full story, but he's just like, I'm just going to buy them a box, and he gave it to them. And it's like, at the local card shops here, they closed due to COVID. But a year before I got back into collecting, I saw these kids. They were like trying to put their pennies and their nickels together to buy a few packs, and I thought it was the cutest thing in the world. You know, like they're trying so hard to save up and to buy these packs. So I bought them a Unified Minds booster box and some other theme decks, and I just gave it to them and left. You know, and just I just think about, being a kid. I was very blessed, and so I have those memories and that nostalgia. And imagine, and I was lucky to get that Metal Raiders booster box for Christmas, and that to me meant a lot. And so if I could do something like that, just take, these cards are worth a lot. I spent what, 45 grand, 50 grand. That's a lot of money. But how big of a difference would giving $100 to $200 to a kid at a store and just give somebody you don't even know something and making that big of a difference in their life? Because adding another $10,000 card to my collection is great. But to a kid, like a booster pack, a freaking booster pack will mean the world to him, and so regardless, I think there's going to be some people that are going to have some absolute dreams made, and if a kid pulls a freaking first edition Charizard or Dark Charizard, that kid's going to remember that for the rest of his life. And so he's going to create some memories, regardless of whatever reasons he's going to do it for. He's going to create some memories for some of these kids. And to me, that's something special, that he's going to create some memories for these kids. So I think that's something to think about with all of these cards and prices going on.
I think that sounds great, but I remember he did a mystery box, and people bought them, and guess what? It ended up on eBay, and it was selling for 3 times the price. So I mean, it sounds great from what you're describing, but I don't think that outcome will be like that. I think the outcome will be people will buy them. It goes on eBay. They'll try to flip them for 3 times the price. Um, yeah, I don't know if
It's
anybody in
possible.
the chat room remembers that. He did a mystery box, and it went straight to eBay. People were listing them on eBay, like 3 times the price. So if you guys know what I'm talking about in the chat, please let me know. Swami, Pokemon DS, yeah. RB3, how do you buy boxes of Japanese boxes? eBay? Question mark. My local stores told me they can't get them from the distributors. My local store said the exact same thing as well. But how do you buy it?
For me,
Yes.
um, so I guess I want to go back to that about the Leonhardt thing. It's like, do we hold him accountable for what other people do with his products? I know the products were a disappointment. They were also done by somebody else. So again, that's your brand, right? So he's
Hmm.
got to represent that correctly. And maybe this was just a learning event. It's like one time. But if it's something where it's like continual, then I'd say maybe give him more of a hard time for it. But to me, it's like I don't know the full logistics around it because I think Troll and Toad or somebody else was the one that handled his boxes, right? I don't know if you guys know in chat if Leonhardt was the one. I don't think he did it himself, but I think he had somebody else create them and manage it for him, and then the packs as well. I don't know how he's going to manage that. It's like, is he the one responsible for creating this a big event and doing it cheaply for these kids or whoever gets them, and then they flip it? It's like, is he responsible for that? Or that's kind of like an interesting thing to think about with some of the things that people do with him, or through or from the stuff that he produces.
That's true, but he can probably have something to set up to prevent that. What I don't
Hmm.
know. What I don't know.
Yeah,
Perhaps vetting people that were buying it.
somebody.
Who knows? But um that's I mean from what you described, that's great, but unfortunately I don't think that's what's gonna
Yeah,
happen. And I don't think it's gonna go to kids. I think that are gonna flip it on don't get me wrong, some will, but I think most probably be on eBay because there were a lot of listing right after it sold. There were a lot of listing about boxes, a lot. So Poke Garage says your thoughts on using CGC versus PSA. Oh, that's a great question.
um, I've watched Squeak's Game World talk about it, and I've seen him. Because there's two different things. It's like, as a collector, I have PSA, and so it's kind of weird to say I have nostalgia for PSA cards because that's what I graded. The first time I graded the PSA 10 Rayquaza Gold Star, my first PSA graded card, I went running through the house like yelling like a kid on Christmas. Like it was exciting. So to me, I have nostalgia for PSA. I'm going to collect PSA. I'm going to stick with PSA because that's where I completed my collection. That's what brings me the most nostalgia and happiness. But then when we look at CGC, that's going to be for somebody else to decide as far as whether you want that for your personal collection or you want it from a financial point. So for me, I look at CGC as a financial tool for building my collection. So that's I can talk about it from that aspect if that's fine.
Yeah, if you want to, go ahead.
Okay. So yeah, for me financially, I've seen Squeak's Game World be able to continually submit cards and flip them and do
Hmm.
great because of the turnaround time. And so that's the biggest question is that would it be better to grade $100 card at PSA and wait 12 months for a potential, say, $300 return? Or would it be better to send that same $100 card to CGC, get it back within, say, let's say 3 months? And so you sell it for $200. You could then repeat that, sell it again for say double 400. So by the time you get that $100 card back in 2 months, you're going to get $300 back. That you're going to get that one. You send that $100 card, you're going to get back $300 in 12 months. But if you do the CGC and you basically kind of flip it over and over again, you might end up with 800 to $1,000, and you're constantly turning that money over faster, but not getting quite as much. So that's the question: is that going to be feasible? And for me, I don't quite have the confidence in that because I'd just rather send the $50 card to PSA, and I already have a ton of stuff backed up at PSA. So to me, I'm just basically putting more cards through PSA, and I haven't yet decided whether or not I feel comfortable. For me as a collector, I don't feel comfortable in CGC, nor do I feel comfortable flipping it as well because I just don't feel comfortable with it. I just kind of feel like it's everybody's second option, and they're hyping it up because it's beneficial to them versus looking at it, objectively. And I think they bring a lot of great things to the table. For me, I just, as a collector, it's not something that I'm going to want long term. And I don't feel that if the other issues get solved with BGS and PSA, will that demand still be there if PSA can pump those cards out faster? Will CGC still have something that I don't know? And so that uncertainty leads me to stay with PSA. That kind of answers the CGC question.
Yeah, I Squeaks talks about it because he's very prominent on grading with C. I'm gonna invite him. We're gonna set a date, and I'm definitely gonna ask him that question. I think that's great.
Yeah.
But I do know that some of the collectors that I'm friends with, they strictly stick with PSA. They buy CGC card to regrade with PSA. So
I've seen that
yeah.
strategy. I've thought about it as well because
Yeah.
it's at a discount. And so, what do you think about that? Because that's something that he said. That's what Squeak said in a video where he said that because the cards are coming back faster with CGC and they're selling for lower, it's not because CGC is worth less than PSA. He said it's because that's actually the real value of PSA. It's just PSA is taking forever. So CGC is essentially what it would be if PSA were faster. What do you think about that? Do you think
He
there's
did
a,
say that.
a
I know
premium?
exactly what video you're talking about. I actually watched all of his videos. He said that the prices of exactly. He said that the prices of CG is basically what the card is worth. Basically, people are arguing that PSA cards are worth more, but actually, the card from CGC is actually what Pokemon has regressing in price. I agree with it to some extent, um,
Mhm,
but at the same time, I think there's a lot of people that are heavily invested in PSA because their collection is
mhm.
mostly PSA. I think that I do believe, and I have a friend that pushed for PSA more. She is heavily invested in PSA. We both know this person, but she's heavily invested in PSA. So
Mhm.
that's what it is because she has cards in PSA. Um, And I do think, and I do agree with what you say. Um, I'm actually a little bit conflicted on that. I really don't know how to answer that question. But I'm very open to buying C cards. I was actually very open to grading with them. I was, but in the end, I chose PSA. I've talked to
Mm.
CGC very openly. I won't discuss more details, but I was about to send in about 8,000 worth of. I talked to you about this before,
Yeah. Hmm.
and they said they were charge a price much less than PSA. But in the end, I sent another friend of mine did as well, and we to PS. So in the back of my head, yeah, I do believe that PSA do retain a little more of the reputation. Um, but I'm very open, but not
Hmm.
of right now, as not of right now. So, I have sent some cards with Express, and I chose PSA instead.
That's smart.
So,
Mhm.
I definitely want to go through all the questions because I definitely have some questions about grading. Because you know
Okay.
some tips and tricks about grading that would be great to let people know. Um,
Okay.
yeah. Someone have a Discord link. Oh, hey, God's Gift. I knew that he was here because I didn't know God's Gift is my friend. He has something called the Shrimp Gang. I think I'm included in it. We always share like shrimp.
Shrimp gang.
What a couple of your 5 year goals in the hobby. Oh, Kevin, that's a great story. That's a great question. 5 year
Oh,
goals in the hobby.
5-year goals in the hobby, man. It's kind of hard to think out that far anymore. Things are so chaotic; it's hard to plan. So I could say my 1-year goal is to complete the 139 set EXs in PSA 10. So I'm on track with that. I have a deal that I'm buying from a friend, and I am making a lot of those big card purchases. Hopefully, I'll have most of the low pop, and then after that, I'm not sure because I'm kind of torn between at this point collecting more or just making it a secondary income, because I want to collect more, but it's financially just not responsible. And I keep using that, and it's like, when I was a lot of us when we were collecting it that have come to this point where we have these hobbies, we were, late teens to 20s, you could be, a little more frivolous with the way that you spent things. And so now it's like as you're getting older, most of us are settling down, having kids and things like that, and looking to buy houses. And so I just can't see myself buying many more cards. So I would like to collect, and I think a long-term goal, if I can get the Rayquaza deal knocked out, I think I would like to maybe in 5 years have the PSA 10 Gold Star set. But with all honesty, I'm probably going to sell off most of it and keep the Rayquaza and a few other cards. But just to have completed it once again as just a chasing down, and then keep the Deoxys Hollows or the Deoxys Gold Stars because those are my favorites, and sell the rest and keep what I can because I think that's something that Squeaks mentioned. And it's nice to have these cards in your inventory because it's part of your collection for a time. You get to enjoy them, and there's cards that are going to be part of my never sell collection. So the EXs are going to be part of my never sell collection. And so the gold stars, there's like a few that I want, but other than that, I just can't see myself keeping many more cards because it's just it's so expensive. It doesn't seem responsible to have that much money in cards unless you had already previously bought it. So yeah,
That's
we
true.
open up a store.
Right.
Yeah,
Drop some fire. Thank you, Gerardo. Top 8, that means that when he's done with his collection soon, and it is said that he's done, he will have one of the 8 complete master set in the world. Drop them
yeah,
fire.
yeah. So I'll tell the people that are listening something interesting on that. So my Lodic, if I can find it, hopefully I don't lose that card. Where's it? Okay. There's so many cards sometimes you kind of lose. So with this card, um, there are I believe there's 3 or 4 complete sets. I have my notes, and so most of my friends have the complete sets. And the other people, there are 2, 3. So I think there's 3 complete sets of EXs, and then there's 3 people who have like 80 or 90% complete on the EXs, and they have Milotic. And then there's me with numbers. So that's 6. So that's 6, and so myself is 7. So there's actually only one Milotic available in the world to purchase at this point, because the rest are locked up into collections. And most of us, we all have our little chat. We're hoping to have the Gold Star or the EXs complete, hopefully this year. So after that, those collections are pretty much locked away, and I don't think everybody's gonna have to fight over it. So when you go back to PSA, anybody that wants to be that eighth person to finish that PSA set, they're not going to go with CGC because, well, unless they want to try to crack it out, but they're going to go for PSA. So it's, if you had a CGC and a PSA 10 on the market, which one do you think is going to go higher? I mean, I'll ask everybody in the chat. You guys think about Milotic. If you had a CGC 9.5 and a PSA 10 going for auction at the same time, which would you think would go higher? So I'll ask that one to you. Which do you think would go higher?
Did you ask me that question as well?
Yeah, I was asking you as well and chat, seeing what they thought would be the more expensive between a CGC 9.5 Milotic 9.5 or PSA 10 Milotic 9.5 or PSA 10.
I think the PSA.
Yeah. So in certain cases, yeah, I see that.
Probably
So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with.
I just think that they need to build up the reputation. Do you know the prices went up, right? Their prices went up. They add an
I
extra.
saw that. Yeah.
I think it's an extra $5 to subgrade with a C now. I didn't grade with
7
them. I
extra.
actually don't grade with them. Grade with them. I've just found out through Squeaks Gaming.
Yeah.
So favorite set by far, PokeGal, you and why? You can go first.
Oh, well, I was
On
going to say
God's
you
gift.
said it was $5, but you said $5.
Yeah, I think
So
they
it's
went up
actually
$5 more. Or is it? Can't remember.
7.
I
It
think
went from
he
5 to
said
7.
$5 more in the video to on a. Yeah, I think it's $5 more. They added an extra $5 more if you want to subgrade with them. Not sure on the prices. I don't grade with them. He did say that um a lot of people were a little bit confused on that. I don't think happy about that, but I think I wrote a comment. I said I think it's business to them. I think they are getting more popular. A lot of people are interested in grading. I think with them, it's more a matter of people get their cards graded faster to sell. So
Exactly.
that's where the market is, exactly what you said. So now when PSA is not backed up anymore, will they retain their value? I think that's a great question that I will ask when on.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see what that'll be. So let's keep going. What other questions you got? Oh wait, did you ask? There was a question somebody asked you, didn't
Yeah,
they?
yeah. What's your
What was
favorite set?
Oh, I think you asked that earlier. It was the Unseen Forces. So for me, Unseen Forces is just an absolute favorite set. I played Gold as a kid. I never actually had the games as a kid. Did you?
No, I don't. I don't even play the card game. I don't.
I don't play either.
I don't even play Pokemon Go. I've not even played once. I
Mhm.
admit it. I don't even know how to play the
Oh,
Pokemon TCG. I've never learned it. I've been collecting for so long, but I've never learned it. I learned how to play Dragon Ball Z, which is weird. I know how to play a little bit of Magic, um,
Magic's
but I've
fun.
never learned how to play Pokemon. I know. I need to learn. I but
That's why that one's my favorite games, though. I played
I
Gold. I never had Blue and Red, so that's why I really like Unseen Forces.
I probably like Team Rocket Return. Probably a good set. It's hard to narrow down, but probably Team Rocket Return. If I had a
A nice set.
Who's Hungry, Mass Shrimp Gang, we're all connected. The Pokemon community is so small. No, it's not. It's actually pretty.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
Um, it's actually pretty big. um, I was talking to you. I said that I did not have any social media back then to show off my collection. Now I'm getting to it. Now people are starting to probably what's going on. Now people are starting to go back, start to showcase, go on YouTube. One that I'm gonna talk to is Pokemon Classic, and he
Oh, I
Neo
love it.
Genesis. I think he had a complete set. So
Mhm.
um, I would like to talk to him. I don't. I would like to introduce myself to him, but I think the hardcore collectors. I think, but just general collectors.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Kevin says, "How do you stay motivated and engaged in the hobby for the next 5 years?"
Oh, didn't somebody? I think I don't know. Maybe I watched too many Radar and Squeaks podcasts. Do you watch those?
I watch Squeaks. I don't watch Pokemon. I watch Squeaks,
Have
which
them. They have them
has him
together.
in it too. But I'm more yeah.
Mm.
But I'm more. I watched more of Squeaks. So I think with the whole broadcast, I just don't have a couple. Just don't have time to sit
Yeah.
watch the whole show.
Mm.
So I watched more of Squeaks video that he just sit there. Um, I oh my god when he said we are going to the I laughed so hard. That was one of the best videos.
Uh,
And I would private message him on Facebook too. I said I absolutely agree with what he said. Um, and I it's funny because I want to invite him. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm gonna write. I'm gonna ask people.
Yeah,
I really
definitely.
like him. But anyways, I digress. How do you stay motivated and engaged in the hobby? Definitely let me know. Let Kevin know.
That's a hard one. I mean, this is definitely the hardest time there is, and the reason I was asking about Pokemon Radar is because him and Squeaks have a like a weekly thing that they do as far as
Yeah.
discussion. And they talked about burnout recently, actually, and so I think it's harder depending on what you're doing and what your goals are. I think preventing burnout is definitely slow and steady is the goal. So if you can do that and keep yourself going steady, that'll be good. So that's first because going for the long term, like you can set up goals and all these things, but with how crazy the market is and competitive and the prices, it's and then the fact that we're all at home most of the time, you're just constantly thinking about Pokemon. And it's hard even for myself. I'm just like, I want to take a break and step back a little bit. That's why I haven't posted any more videos, and so that's it. Just kind of like learning to know when to back off between what you're doing. Maybe you're searching too much. Maybe you need to disable like your phone on one of those little apps that has a timer where it's like it'll shut off your phone for a little bit and just step away from it. Because I think right now it's challenging. So for 5 years, I think the thing is to give yourself goals and to pace yourself because it's easy to get burnt out. I had it with everything going on. So I don't know about you if you've ever had or experienced burnout, or what you say to somebody who had burnout.
I I'm sure you know me that I don't have something called a fear. When a new set comes out, I am never the first one to buy it. Never. Sometimes I support a friend and I would buy it on cards and packs, but not because I wanted to go and buy from my collection. I'm buying it
Mm.
because I'm supporting a friend. And I would wait till the card comes out for a while and then I would buy the card. It's for collecting. Oh, I don't flip. I don't sell my cards. But financially burnout, absolutely. Back then, when the cards are not like this, I find myself just buying a lot of cards, and I have strictly set myself to buy master sets. That's it. Financially burnout.
Smart.
Back then, yes, I save money. I barely open any packs. When I open packs, it's just to support a friend, the streamer that's doing. I buy master set. If I want the card, like whatever what I card, I just go on eBay and I buy it. And
Mhm.
I use Facebook, Bank, Pokemon World. I just post what I want, that's how I do it. I barely open packs anymore. That's how I save a lot of money. And
Mhm.
Pokemon is just going left and right. Because okay, here's Champion's Path. Here's the Charizard. Everybody wants it. Have um, sorry, Shining Fates that's coming out, and people that are going spending so much on opening packs to complete the set. I wonder, how do you up trying to complete the set?
I don't know. That's
That's just to me, especially with a Blazer's comment that I still have pinned. That I just found it hilarious. Um, that I
oh,
don't know how they do it. I don't know go them, but I love Pokemon. I have not been. I mean, if you say that in the terms of burnout as in losing interest or not, no, I've always loved Pokemon in it. Hence, I have not
mm,
sold. I barely sell
mm,
anything. But I'm just what I do for. I just learned I know how to manage money pretty well. Um, how to save money. Not only that, because I've been collecting for a while, I know shops here. They
mm.
help me out. I have my own connection. And the thing is that I don't have, when someone says you need to buy this, buy that, I would take the risk of waiting rather than buying it, especially when it comes to modern cards. Most
Yeah.
modern cards, packs are coming out. I don't. Um,
Mm,
I don't. I remember Champion's Path when now,
mm.
even though it's still hard, but when about $70, Facebook
Yeah.
about $70, so that's half. I don't. That's how I keep myself interested. Not burning out on that aspect because
Yeah.
that's pretty tough, especially for collectors out there. Eventually, they'll catch on. That's what I always. I've been friends with a lot of these. They'll catch on. They'll be like, okay, I'm just gonna go buy the card. Catch on.
Yeah, I mean, with this, it's kind of it's crazy with the printing and everything going on. It's kind of, are they going to open up? I imagine they're already going 24 hours at this point. So I kind of thinking about the more sets are going to come out as the printers are printing at
Yeah,
max speed, and they're falling behind because like another set comes out. We're planning for this one, but we were so behind on the demand for the previous one. Will there actually ever be enough of certain sets? Will they have just had to like keep rolling forward and leave some sets behind?
yeah.
So I think it's going to be challenging for
My friend just bought a Vivid box for
200.
$240 and said, buy it now. It's gonna go up. And I said, they're gonna print that until it dies. I'm not spending too. Buy for two. I said,
Oh
they're
my
gonna
god.
they're gonna keep reprinting it now. I said, I don't have a. I don't even have a complete Vivid set yet. Not yet. I'm gonna wait till it goes down. And
I'm just I can't I still
Poke
have that. I,
cards,
I can't believe that. $240
two
for,
hundred and forty dollars.
oh my god.
Back then, when I was collecting, a booster box was $90. You guys,
I know. 520 a case. 520 bucks a case.
not back then when I was collecting. I would say what? No, not
Mm.
even 2 years. Probably a year. $90. Hey, Poke cards. We got a Leonard hater. Get your pitchfork. He's so funny. Oh my god, he's funny. Oh, I like his comments. Travis, hey Travis. I like it when he says pats on the back. LOL. That's not a nice. Please respect true collectors. Adam. Laugh aloud when someone says almost 2 million followers and he's negative one. One of them will find you. Oh no. Hey, you're They'll find
And
you. You're done. You're done for. If he's missing, you guys know what happened.
I know we know what happens.
Yeah, I do. I think he said he's doing a golden ticket type stage, and you must open the packs when purchase. Oh, great! I like that
Yeah.
idea. Yeah, Leonhardt said that only true collectors will be able to buy, and he does. There you go. So he's creating hurdles. I like that. God's gift. Sometimes I walk to Target and I see kids try to go into the Pokemon aisle. There's nothing.
Oh,
I
that's
had a I had 11-year-old girl watch my wife and I live. We gave her so hard. She was. By the way, God's gift in some Pokemon groups. I don't know what they're in. I'm in like them, but he does a lot of pool games and he donates seeds to. It was really great. So if you guys do want
that's
to,
nice.
um, I I went to Target a couple of times and I went Poke Venture with a friend that just started collecting. I think we drove out about 25 miles out, um, going to like about 13 Targets. Nothing stock. Target had
Nothing.
nothing. Um, and my Walmart stopped selling them, and I asked them why I stopped selling cards, and they said because people were stealing Pokemon cards, so they stopped selling.
Jesus. That's uh, okay. So
Sometimes
here's
that's
uh,
so I'm in a great mood today. Comments are so
yeah.
great. It's so sad that a lot of kids
So
get booster packs. It's true. Not necessarily
let me ask you
collectors.
something.
Give those
Um,
boxes suck to the high heavens. Sad that they can get away with scamming the.
let me ask you something as far as the the Pokemon fever that we have right now. You know, with the stores being out, the scalping, because obviously as things are more in demand, you know, obviously there's a little bit of limited supply or the ability to keep up with it. That always has scalpers coming into it. So with what we're seeing now, do you think that this frenzy is bigger than say the 1999 frenzy?
Oh, that's a great question. One, I can't really remember what I I was really young when I 1999.
Mhm.
Um, I was really stupid back then. I admit this to you guys. I traded my Game Boy for a Pikachu, a base Pikachu card that's worth like $10 here. Game Boy. Uh, um, you know what's funny? I was actually watching cards, not cards, some video where there's the
Mhm.
Pokemon kid. This guy was hyping up all these toys. Oh, that's a great question. Don't I can't answer that because I just don't. Um, I want to hear what you. I want to hear your answer.
Oh, I don't. Again, I think we're both around the same age, and so I don't remember what it was like. You know, when I was playing as a kid, I didn't get the games originally. So the reason why Unseen Forces is my favorite is because I didn't really get my own Game Boy until Gold came out. So then I was playing Gold all the time. So that's why I really like Gen 2 because back then I wasn't able to get any of the games. So for me, it wasn't something that I was really involved in because I wasn't able to get it as a kid. And so, especially at that time, and that lasted from 1999 to I think I always hear that a lot of people got out of it at
Mm-hmm.
Neo Genesis Japanese. They always talk about Neo Genesis Japanese, and then that's when they kind of got out of it. And Neo
Mm-hmm.
Genesis Japanese is 2001, so it lasted a year and a half or so. So I think if we look at it strictly from a timeline, that we started in what would you say that we start, or when would you say that we started? Like May, June for Pokemon?
Probably more in towards June,
Okay,
I think.
so
Yeah.
we're at the 25th anniversary. So if we can keep this momentum that we have and kind of keep prices stable and as many people and celebrities talking about it into 2021, I'd say we're at least equal to, because you for a timeline and distance wise, I mean, look how popular Pokemon Go was. That took over the world in the
Yeah.
same way, but it didn't quite last that long. So this one, I guess it's really hard to know. I mean, maybe because we see it in the news and celebrities, we can at least say maybe it's similar, but the only way to really tell if it was bigger is to look at the timeline. How long did this last? Because it's like how much momentum had it and how long did it go? I guess that's kind of one way that you could look at it.
That's true. I can't really say much for 1999 because I don't, but I will add my input for Pokemon Generations. So prices
Hmm.
did go up for a little bit where it was when Pokemon was. I did notice that because I noticed that I was spending a lot more buying the cards that I should have bought before Go, and that's when most of my collection just I basically double my effort collecting. But when Generations came out, it brought some people back. It did. And all these boxes they have, I remember it was a little bit hard to go to get them. But people did price gouge. Yeah, they did scalp.
They?
I I did back then in Generation. I foolishly bought a pack for 20 back then, selling for $20. I did.
Oh my.
I took lots of years and experience about learning how to save money. Um, and then they started printing and printing, and the price dipped. It dipped. And back then I was buying on Craigslist, and even for back then for $2 in Generations, not a lot of people buying it at all. And it slowed down. Got really hyped. I remember driving to GameStop, and there was a line for people to buy uh,
Mhm.
these mythical boxes, and the hype was there. I bought $27, and then it just died. I think a couple of months it died down, and my local shop, a local card shop, actually closed, and he said people are not buying Pokemon cards anymore. It died out after Generations, down a little bit. He said we're closing. Are you interested in buying about I think 400 packs of Generation $2 a piece? Bought it all out. I bought it all out. And
Dang.
oh yeah, I'm sitting on about 500 sealed booster packs of Gen that I bought for like dollars and $1.50. They're
It's a
going
good
up.
find.
Yeah, and the hype was not there. So and then Pokemon Go, it went up a little bit and then died down. But this year, um, it's the prices have skyrocketed. But based on just what I believe, I think die down. I think are out there
Mhm.
having this now and not so restricted prices. I do. I think the hype will go. But I also heard Katy Perry's is some packs. But
It's
with yeah. In regards to Generations,
Mhm.
I don't think that they are having a set that's exclusive to the 25-year anniversary. Generation, it was 20 years. But I don't think there's a set that's released exclusively for 25-year anniversary, right? I anything about that because I did. I know they have
I think they're
Shiny
keeping it
Days
under
going,
wraps.
huh?
I think they are releasing something, but it's supposed to be towards the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And so, from what I understand is that uh, Generations wasn't the 20th anniversary, though, was it? I can't
It
remember. I
was,
was
it was, yeah, it was.
okay. So it started off strong and then died. Remember with the mythical boxes, they had like Mew and Celebi, the
Yeah,
really popular ones up front, and it was super hype. and you got Darkrai, which is awesome, and then it just kind of went down to like Meloetta, and Arceus is nice. I think you had like Meloetta, Genesect, and other things like that, and those died off at the end. So it's kind of like now it feels like they're doing the reverse. They're giving us little trickles of cards here, little cereal packs, McDonald's, big promos. So they're giving us a little bit up front, excuse me, and kind of building up over time. And to me, that's what it feels like. They're kind of like building all of this stuff up slowly instead of trying to unleash the big stuff to us at first and give it to us in the same amount over time. And just kind of like people are kind of tired like that. And so I think I'm hoping that they learned and that they're going to do it better. But that's kind of my understanding, is that they're building up towards something towards the middle, quarter 3, quarter 4 of 2021. So there's a set, and they're building towards it. What it is exactly, nobody really knows right now. There's no sneak previews. Nobody's stolen anything from factories like they did with Shining Fates. So it's mum's the word.
That's true. They also did a on commercial Super Bowl. They talked about the set, so I'm a little bit surprised. I know they're doing a McDonald's promo, but that's not like a exclusive set for it. We'll see.
Yeah.
So, Kevin, what is your thoughts on the backed up PSA graded cards that will be flooding the hobby later this
year? Oof.
I think that's when the prices dropped.
Yeah, but that's kind of like my question though, is that they're hiring graders, or they're kind of just posted something. So maybe they were hiring this whole time, and that now they just hear a post, about it. So it could have been going on, and then it's like something with a business. You have it there all the time, but suddenly you're advertising for it. So people suddenly think that you're starting to do something when you've been doing it all along. So that could just be the case. And so these graders, they're still pumping out cards at the same rate. And so I don't think they're going to exponentially increase the amount of graders that they have, and thereby exponentially increase the amount of cards coming out. It's like it's basically bottlenecked. And so you have like a tunnel here. Hopefully I don't make a mess, but like, it's like you've got all of this coming. This is PSA's capacity here, or excuse me, this would be like your outflow here, all the cards coming out. And then here's just this giant bottleneck here of grades coming in. It's still only pumping out this amount right here versus the amount of cards coming back in. And so the only thing that I'm certain of, or fairly certain of, is that before you would have got your cards back in 2 to 3 months, and you would learn how PSA grades, you would learn the value of the cards that you had, whether you're going to make money or you're going to lose money, or whether you got the grades that you wanted, you would learn that quicker. So you're not going to have that except for 12 months. And so people are going to constantly send stuff in because they're not going to get that knowledge back, whether or not they were successful in grading cards for their collection or whether it was valuable enough. Like somebody graded, not this card right here, but somebody graded a Jirachi, Amazing Rare Jirachi, and they sent it in regular submission or express, and it got a PSA 8. So they sent that in along with a bunch of other amazing rares. They got PSA 8 and PSA 9, and they sent it in regular service level. So after doing the math, $50 a card, the card sells for $15, and you're trying to sell it for $70. You're basically breaking even or losing money. And so that person found out quickly, but how many others are doing things like that and realizing that the cards, like the junk slab era, I know somebody mentioned it down there, is that the junk slab era, these people don't have that calculation in place for whether or not the card that they sent at the level they sent it at, or thinking about the future value, is going to be somewhere that's going to allow you to make money. And so for me, I sent off a lot of these modern cards here. I've sent off probably 30 modern cards, regular service level, $50 a card. And so I could sell some of these and make a small profit. I'm holding them for the long term and hoping to basically later on sell them so that I can recoup my costs for everything else that I spent. So I can feel that my collection is a net neutral at this point. How many people understand that concept? I don't think so. And so I think people are going to constantly send in. PSA is not going to really dramatically increase their outflow. So people are expecting a sudden dump of cards like it's going to come out, but it's still going to constantly come out at the same flow it's coming out right now next year. The only difference is the bottleneck is going to get bigger. It's like you send 3 cards, but only 1 card gets graded at a time. So you constantly send 3 cards in and 1 card gets graded. That backlog keeps growing. And so I'm certain that there's not going to be any dramatic drops as far as supply, other than people selling the cards. That's a different story. As far as the volume of cards, from what we've seen, the numbers on PSA don't really say that they're suddenly dramatically increasing. It's constant and the number's a lot, but it's not going to be like somebody suddenly rained it from the sky. Here's all of your orders back. No, it's going to be constant. And so the only thing to know is whether or not when those prices do come down because of sales, will people suddenly all rush to sell their cards? That's the different thing to ask. People might conflate the two between seeing people sell what they already had versus selling what they just got, you know, next year or this year or later on. It's kind of it's complicated, but I don't see a sudden influx. But what the prices will do, that's a different story, and I can't really comfortably or confidently answer that.
Perfect. SRC non-Pokemon question. Think about the GameStop stock market fiasco. I have no comment on that. I did not see that coming, but my brother made a lot of money in Tesla stock. A lot. I used to do stock here and there, completely pulled out. Now I just heavily invest in property and Pokemon cards. But that's for my own personal collection. But I invest in land. Stop doing. I did not see that coming. Talk like that. If you have any opinion, please let me.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, again, I'm not qualified to say anything as far as whether it's good or bad. I honestly don't know. I don't think anybody, again, really knows what the fallout is. I saw somebody who said they were a lawyer that works on the floor. Again, is that person really a lawyer that works on the floor? I don't know, but the way they worded the argument made it seem like the people that were betting from Wall Street Bets, the retail or the individuals were actually driven by other young hedge fund people. And so they were saying like how these are supposed to be average folks in Wall Street Bets that were taking advantage of all of these shorts that the hedge funds were doing. But they were saying, well, how come all these regular folks had such in-depth knowledge of this? And how come somebody who's on a Wall Street bet, like say average Joe, put down $1 million towards uh, GameStop stocks at like $10 a stock? That's not our average folks. So the way that they worded it made it seem like the people who might have started this or really rallied behind it as far as buying it could have been other investors acting as Wall Street bet folks, basically using basically like kind of like a pump and dump, where basically you buy something, you tell all these other people to do it. Instead, they're just like they're jumping in it with all of them, and it's not an average folks. It could be somebody who's actually an investor with a lot of knowledge, and so basically, it's like somebody who's like an elite or a royal would basically be going out with the peasants to do Robin Hood acts just so that they could take the crown or sabotage somebody up above. To me, nobody really knows who's really pushing this and what side's going to happen. But I do enjoy the memes. I enjoy the memes and the comments, and people are like, "We got awesome tism," and things like that. So it's funny and I enjoy it, and we'll see what the fallout is. Some people said it could have large repercussions though on the market, which to me does make me a little worried with Pokemon, because a lot of my friends that I've been in since 2012 have millions of dollars in collectibles, and some of them have duplicates where they are basically shoveling and funneling all their money into Pokemon, and they're paying their bills, but it's like a fine line. So if the market crashes, it'll suck to see the value of our stuff drop, especially when we were holding on to things to either one day pay for your house down the line and be like, okay, I kept my collection and I can sell the rest of my stuff and I can not walk away from the hobby, but walk away from having to play that grind when you have enough money with the cards. So worry that maybe if this does affect the stock market negatively, that could affect cards and everything else. Like if them fooling around causes the market to crash, and obviously that'll probably like will that affect Pokemon is my question. So I do worry about it. It's interesting and funny at the same time.
Oh, RB3 says completely skip. Sorry about that. How to get Japanese boxes? What's up with that? There you go. As you are a Japanese collector, please help answer that question.
I was trying to find the comments. Can you repeat the question?
How to get Japanese boxes? I think he's asking where to buy them at.
Okay, so I've never actually done that, but I would say that if you are interested, I would go to E4 on the forums or go to Instagram and find somebody that does get those boxes and simply order it through them. The way that they do it is that they have a middleman in Japan or they order through one of the websites on Japan. I forget the name of it, but you can find it and you can order it yourself, and it's pretty reputable. Most of them do get their supplies from them, from a distributor in Japan. But the issue now though is that it's Japanese, but I think that they're having the same issue as they do here. So I would find somebody on E4 forums, look for somebody that deals with it, and buy a box from them, or find the name of the website that sells it. You know, like it's a Dave and Adams, but it's in Japan. And so I would say find that and try to order from it. But right now, I think Japanese or English, everything is basically hard to come by, and everybody's fighting for it. So good luck on getting those boxes. Hopefully that helps you with the answer.
RB3, if you heard of what Burbank Pokemon is or Pokemon World, if you have Facebook, join those groups. Tell them, I know Charlie was 75 tackle back then, a couple months. I've seen the new set going for $85. Join the Facebook market group Burbank or Pokemon or Pokemon World. Go to go to your Facebook and just type in on group. There are seller there. Then you join on trade back, because that's where buyers and seller go and back and say, hey, find if they're a reputable seller or not. That's where I do that. Well, let me know. Contact me. Help with that. I'll see. I buy my boxes. Sometimes I buy on eBay, but most of the time. Laser, the junk slap era for submitting dollar cards. Okay. I'm gonna say something about that. They are.
Go ahead, go for it.
They are. One is because it's personal. I completely understand. I have Bidoof cards that are I love them, but I think there's a lot of misinformation, especially Pokemon that are saying to lessen cards here and there that nobody's gonna want later cards come back. And I think that a lot of certain people look it up and say population card was just a regular GX card, and they think that card's gonna be a lot. It's lower pop. Don't want the card at the card that you grading. That's what he. I think that's stemming from or giving out really bad advice. That's my say on that. Don't want to go any further on that, but I do know exactly what you mean. I've seen it myself, where someone says, "Hey, you should." They pay a premium on dollars, certain amount card back at 10 get you 30 plus. But that's all. I'm just comment. Let me know that.
I agree with the junk slab era, and so there's a lot of cards that I graded that. Well, I mean, back then we obviously didn't grade cards unless we knew they had a high shot at a 10, and so it's hard to really know, like what's going to be valuable. But I graded a lot of. I'm going to grade a lot of cards that are basically not going to be super valuable because I simply enjoy them and I like them, and I like the slab because I can kind of, I can kind of basically like put it up somewhere and make like a little mount out of it or a wall, and it's enjoyable. So there's going to be cards like that. But I think you're right. A lot of folks have no idea what they're grading, and like I mentioned previously, it's going to take 12 months. Oh, excuse me, that kombucha. um, it's going to take 12 months for them to get their cards back. So they're not going to know, whether they were even right in the first place. That I see that card going for whatever in a 10, maybe my reverse hollow can go in a 10, and they have no experience with grading evolutions reverse hollows. Those are not worth much to begin with. And now suddenly, somebody's going to see a 10 and think, oh my God, that Pikachu's going to be worth $500 because the base set one is worth this much, but that one's crashed. So if that vintage one is crashed, why wouldn't your modern one crash, especially with reverse hollows? I'm guilty of that as well. Like I graded probably got 2 or 3 thousand cards at PSA, and there's probably 100 cards in there that are just stupid, right? It's like 100 cards that's $1,000. That grading cost for cards that I got as part of other collections. Like I bought here's an example of how I think about things when I'm grading and what I'm doing. So I bought a complete set, which is what you do. I mean, that's what I did too. And that's the smartest thing that you can do is buy those master sets or complete sets. It's harder now than it was before. I bought a fire red leaf green complete set minus the Charizard. And the guy was like mint condition, pulled from pack. He had the pack wrappers in it. And so I got it for 900 something dollars, and the Gengar was played and another card, and I got like $150 back. So overall, I paid like $800 for this guy who had a near complete set, and so I graded them. Blastoise Venusaur got 9, Gyarados got 9, and then Moltres Venusaur got 10. I kept the Moltres and Venusaur, and I sold the Blastoise, Gyarados, and Venusaur, and that got me like $1,800 right there. And then there was a bunch of reverse hollows in it as well. And so I got $1,200 in value from the 2 legendary birds in PSA 10, $1,800 from the 3 PSA 9s. That's $3,000, and I paid less than $1,000, including the grading cost. Then I sent off all the reverses, and then I took the Bulbasaur, Pikachu, Blastoise, Squirtle, Charmander, or Bulbasaur, and Pikachu from those sets that were non-hollow, because he also kept the commons and they were jammed in there. So I had like 10 of Pikachu, 10 of Charmander, and I took 1 to 2 copies of those that were literally flawless. I still might get 9s, but at $10 a card, when I've already up $2,000, it doesn't hurt me to spend $20 from that set or $200 for 20 cards to grade and hoping to get a few 10s out of it. Plus the reverse hollows that were there. I had another 50 reverse hollows that were not graded. Overall, that $800 purchase with the proper grading and the eye for grading is going to net me over $5,000 in profit. So, that's what I'm doing, but that's obviously like 2% of the cards that I graded. So I am doing that to an extent. I also have my experience and my eye appeal that I know what will still maintain. And even if I lose, that's not going to kill me because it's 2% of the cards that I graded. So I don't know. That's the way that I think about it. So hopefully for you guys, when you're thinking about grading versus the junk slab era, that's my thought process in it. But these folks are basically, they don't have that, and they're just grading that $1 common card because they think, oh, if it gets a 10, I'll make $100. But that's not the way it works.
Not
so
every card is
I,
10. That's
nope.
not every card that's PS. That's how they sell to new collectors. That hey, some clickbait titles that I pulled a $35,000 card. Yes, it's a PS 10. That's the clickbait title, but not every card's gonna grade a PS. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, there was a streamer that said that too. I think I'm not going to mention the streamer's name, but they opened up a Neo Genesis box, and they were jumping for joy because they pulled the Lugia, right? And they're like, "We opened the $100,000 card," and I'm like, anybody that's graded for a long period of time knows that Lugia, Neo Genesis in general, but Lugia, because of the white card with the light background, is so incredibly difficult to grade.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's ridiculous to go around screaming you got $100,000 card.
Yeah. For
It
the
was
it's the
just, it was
first
just
edition
nuts.
Lugia, right? That's what I meant.
Yeah.
What he meant. Cheese is here, and then God's gift, all that work. Thanks to Pokemon royalty. Without them, I am. Thank you. What number is Pikachu? Pokedox. Thank you, Omi. 8,000. Yeah, I sent a lot of cards to PSA, you guys. A lot. Um, you know what? Since we're talking about that, we talked
Huh?
and we said there's tips and tricks how to grade cards to get. I think you said a higher grade or how to get them faster. How do you?
Okay.
Maybe you can tell them that. What are the tips and tricks you're talking about? Mention tips.
Okay. So as far as tips and tricks goes, some of those tips don't work quite as much anymore. So what we used to do previously was we used to basically take whatever our bulk orders were and we would break it up into multiple bulk lots. So now it's $50. You could do 50 cards, and basically, say you had 200 bulk cards, you would send 450 lots, and then you would send one regular service level inside that submission, because the regular service level or higher is a lot faster. So PSA is going to open it up right away, and they're going to log everything into the system. So now PSA has those labels where it combines it into one, so they know if you send a super express and there's a bunch of bulk in it, that they're going to basically open it up and get it into the system faster. But now, though, I've been doing that, and my regular service levels are being graded within 4 to 5 weeks. But the bulk ones are taking 15 weeks to enter. So that was a strategy previously where you could stack different service levels to get the lower service levels bumped up quicker. That's no longer a strategy anymore because PSA doesn't do that. So that was the biggest one for how to get your cards graded faster. You can use the other grading services, but here's another tip, I guess, for that. So a lot of people think that they're sending with Express when they send to another grading company because it's labeled Express. And this was something that Z and G mentioned in one of his videos. So they could also have a higher service level than that, but Express is $75 a card. When you pay Express to another grading company, the middleman, you're not buying Express. You're actually getting economy. Economy was the one that was closed out, and economy is still considered bulk as far as how they enter it, because
Huh.
regular gets entered in the system within 1 week. Economy and bulk take 15 plus weeks to get entered in the system. I don't know if that's something that you knew. Like, you see the name Express and you look at Express on the PSA website, but that's taking 2 weeks to process. But your order is taking 15 weeks to log if you send with the middleman with Express. That's
No,
that's
I
something that
know
I
that.
think most people don't know.
I just
Yeah.
you I have a middle dash of about about 13 still. 13 still. 45 days, but 45 days would say now is like 6 months. But it's like
Yeah.
$13 card, and I know Pokemon World charges 5 days. It's now 6 months. $13 a card. Live streaming. So
Yeah.
that's how I like bulk cards. Who is the hardest Pokemon to catch? I don't play the game, so you can answer that
Ooh.
question. I don't play.
So I think that question is Beldum. I think Beldum has a very, very low pop or catch rate, but I guess this depends on if you're talking about Pokemon, the games, or Pokemon Go. 'Cause certain Pokemon have different catch rates on Pokemon Go. Like, there was a website and you could look at the Pokemon's base catch, then you put in your medals based on how many you caught, and it lowers the or increases the percentage. Then you look at whether you did a curveball, and then whether or not you hit it without the circle. Then there was nice, then there was great, then there was excellent. So it's like you could kind of calculate. So I mean, like, I get really technical about stuff. So it's like uh, Beldum or I think Beldum's one of the hardest ones to catch.
Do you think Pokemon will be done after a lot of Americans are vaccinated and are in and out about, and COVID's about to be done with? Do you think COVID is high in Pokemon stay at home? I absolutely do. I want your opinion on that.
So I think that the longer this goes on, the longer people are involved with Pokemon, the longer the pandemic takes to get back to normal life. I mean, a few friends showed me a bar in some places, and nobody was wearing a mask. You had Texas down at the conference. Uh, they're somewhat well known, but you saw people and they were taking photos with Guru in the background. They were kind of making fun of it, like, look who's here. Like Guru Baldi is in the background. He was wearing a mask. So I guess I can give him that. Guru wears his mask whenever he goes around. But half the people in that big conference weren't wearing masks. So there's the other viruses and strains that are coming, distribution and all that stuff. So I think that the more complicated things sound and the more you hear about it and the less you see people adhering to the rules, the longer this is going to drag on. And so the longer this drags on, I think that people are going to have that nostalgia, love with Pokemon longer. Because if it was short, Pokemon Go, people would forget about it and they would come back, oh, hey, it's that game. But now, my coworker's like, hey, man, I bought 3 Hidden Fates ETBs at Ross for $30 a piece. And my buddy bought them off of me for like $300 or $400. Now he's like looking at Pokemon. And I was like, dude, that's dumb to grade. I was like, and then he's like, no, I'm going to keep that. I'm going to collect it. So kind of get more of these scalpers and people that are going to enjoy the hobby more. The longer it goes on, they're going to have a nostalgia. So they might sell out completely, and then they'll come back, or they'll have that love because it was there for so long and it was the only thing that they could do. So I think that the longer it goes on, the stronger that connection's there, the less of a drop off that we'll have afterwards. And I also think because of the prices now and because of alternative investing, you're going to see less people sell the collections and just stop collecting in general when they leave. So the cards will disappear. Again, PSA coming in, the flow is going to be continuous. And so I don't think we're going to see as big of a drop off as we would have in years past because of those factors. So that's what I think about it. I don't know how that sounds to you as far as people being in this longer.
I just noticed I'm way behind that. So there's a
I
lot
know
of
we're
questions
pretty
I need to
bad.
read. Way behind. And so um Logan Paul fake card was the funniest video ever. I need to see it. I think that's where he punched a glass and he cut himself or something. I heard of it. I need to see the video. Blazer says without a doubt PSA. So I'm definitely behind. That's how I knew I
Yeah.
was behind. When either PSA. I'm submitting 152 cards to CGC literally right now. Oh, hey, excellent. You heard it, folks. They're probably locking them up. The master set would probably be that. Do you have any idea how rare that is in the chat? If you want to learn about TCG, I know this great channel. I certainly do too, and he is funny as hell. Check out Omi Pokemon. I'm sorry. Thank you so much. It was such a great Those are such great comments. I had such a great. How
Yeah.
was your family / partner reacting
Same
to
here.
you collecting Pokemon? Reacting, oh my god. How has your family, friends, partners reacted to your Pokemon collecting?
Hmm. You want to take this one, or you want me to answer
No,
first?
it's it's live Q&A with you.
Oh,
That's why I don't talk
okay.
much during these sessions.
Um,
Like, okay, I take that back. I talk a lot, but don't talk as much.
you actually do a really good job, honestly. Like there's from the other ones that I've seen, I think obviously Pokemon Radar for me is the way he tells the stories. I really like that because he gets stories, and to me, people's stories, other collectors' stories is interesting. So he does, for me, the best job with it because he doesn't talk that much, and you get him and Squeaks. Squeaks just talks the whole time, and then Radar interjects. So I think the way you do it, it's better because you're basically bringing on a guest versus like when you see other channels do it. Some people, they're just like they bring on a guest and they talk 80% of the time, and I'm like, I like your videos, but like you invited the guest on, I didn't hear their story, so you do a really good job. So
Thank you.
don't knock
I'm
yourself
learning.
out.
I'm learning.
Yeah. So family and friends and partners. So that's an interesting one because when I collected previously, that did affect me. Like a lot, we talked about not showing our faces, not talking to people about what we collected. I never talked about that previously with other people, or when they did see me, would be collecting and they just look at me weird. Like, I remember my cousin, she has her own business and she's like in a male dominated business. No, she's like, she just looked at me like, what are you doing with all these cards? I was sorting commons and stuff like that. And like, look how much the collection's worth now. Like if I had just kept it. So I think part of that too was like the stigma of the collecting and, like my job in the military was very hardcore. And so it's kind of like I kept my collecting in the closet and myself, like, in the closet, like down low, just not like showing people that I was doing that. I was always nerdy, but collecting was kind of like collecting Pokemon was always another thing. So, one my ex's brother was like, he's collecting Pokemon. Like, what is he doing? He was like, he's a loser. And like, next, towards the end of that relationship, I sold the cards, right? And I bought like the joke between a few friends is like I bought this 69 Corvette. That was also besides paying for school, I bought a Corvette. And so he was like, it was like he bought that car with the money. And so it's like, yeah, like I got a lot of that before where it's like people wonder, like, oh, even now, some people, going from the past, like now, it's like people are like, what are you doing? And it's like you're spending all this money on cards. Like, well, one for me, it's like I'm enjoying the collecting. It's enjoyable. I've always collected.
Yeah.
I've always been somebody in like video games, like Final Fantasy 7. I'll go out and I'll try to get like the max number of items, and I'll be like, I'm sorting the items. And like, there's a meme I saw where it's like you're on the final boss to beat the game, and you have an elixir, which is like a cure everything. And so you're like, okay, should I use the elixir? But then you're like, but then I can't find them because they're so hard. But you're like, I have 99. I've always been a collector, like the way I look at things.
Very
So
nice.
that
Very
kind of
nice.
that answers the
I
past.
very nice. You I bet you when you tell your family and your friends how much the cards are worth now, their mouth will be like, "What? No way." Did they believe you when you said, "Look at how much they're worth now"? Did they believe you?
Kind of, but they still think it's a little foolish right now. So that's
I
part of like with all this. Like I would love to to keep this long term. I'm also looking at all the extras, like with all the stuff that I bought strategically before the pandemic. When I first got back in, I bought stuff strategically and I sent it all to PSA. And I'm hoping to use that capital to rebuild the collection. Excuse me. But I'd also like to start a store as a secondary income to
Mhm.
buy a house. So some people see it just because that's the first thing you do to validate yourself. It's like, oh, but look how much money it's worth, instead of just being like, I enjoy this card because of this art.
Yeah.
So I still get some of that, but it's less because of the value, which is kind of sad that you have to use value to validate your hobby, when it's not something that's
Exactly.
or
I
wasn't as
exactly
normal
know what you
now.
mean. And I said it before, I don't publicly disclose that I collect Pokemon cards, but now I probably do. I guess because it's a cool thing. But back then, I started collecting Pokemon cards. I've
Yeah.
said it back in many broadcasts that I was actually bullied, and I would just go and buy Pokemon cards, and it was something like um was something to escape, and never stopped. And that's why I love Pokemon cards. I told my mom how much my collection's worth, and she's like, I thought all these cards were worth like $200. She's like, she looked at all this, everything in the back, and she's like, I thought those were worth $200. I said, so if I were to drop dead, you would sell them for $200. She goes, yeah. I'm like, oh my god. Oh, so, uh, it's in a trust. So
Well, I mean,
it's in a trust.
that's good.
It's $200 for all of
I,
those. That's what my mom thinks, who knows nothing. Well, we've been going for two
yeah.
and a half, guys. Any last call questions? Let me know. Um,
Yeah.
because I'm getting tired. I don't know how
Yeah.
streamers do it for like 6 hours, and I don't even talk.
Yeah. I know. It's fun, but don't worry. The only person that bullies me now is my girlfriend. So she bullies me and about how much I spend, but she just says I can't tell her anything about how much she spends. So
That's
she seems understanding. It's like at a certain point,
she's
money
your
is
girlfriend.
just I'm spending as much as I can now, and later on I won't be able to spend the money. So that's when I talk about the responsibility. That's why I think about it. It's like later on, hopefully, kids, I won't be able to spend that money, so that's why I've cut goals short because I'd like to enjoy something else later on.
What do you think of people submitting cards that aren't worth a lot of money but want to submit it because they like the card? Absolutely. just make sure
Mhm.
when people submit the cards, they don't that they have a middleman that they can trust that's not exploiting them for extra. Because when you can submit a card that you don't that's not worth a lot, don't express it unless you really want the card back. Just do it bulk like I
Yeah.
do. 45 days, really 6 months now, $13. I do it from Pokemon World. I know a couple of Luckins, graded gem,
Mhm.
just like that. I would not express a card that's not worth a lot, unless I really want that card back. That's
Mhm.
pretty expensive. That's just not financially smart in my end to do that. It's how they want. How do you answer that?
As far as the grading goes,
Hmm. What do you think of people submitting
um,
cards that aren't worth a lot of money but submitting? I definitely, I would like that. I mean,
I think
just be financially smart about it. My opinion.
yeah, I, I think that's true. Like, I think that was really good advice. Where you think about the way that you're going to do it and what your goals are. So if you just like the card and you want it slabbed, because it's a nice way to present it. So I would say if that's the case, one of those cheap cards, CGC seems like a perfect option for somebody like that. It'll come back quicker. You'll be able to add it to your collection and just have it in a stand. And I think in that way, I might do some of those cards where it's like I'll get it back quicker and set them aside like that, and they won't be part of my goals. They'll just be other stuff. So I think if you're just going to keep it, that's perfectly fine. Don't be dumb and spend $75 to grade a $5 card. You know, even if you do want it back that quickly, that's you could have just bought more cards for your collection instead.
Peter, you should be on Pokemon's. If you invite me, absolutely. I have an Pokenomics with Pokemon Coffee soon, so
Mhm.
hopefully to get this channel growing. Well, the PSA
Yeah.
would go higher just because bigger number is better, but the CCG card might be nicer. Might be. Uh, then you have to cross grade to 10 if you're keen on having a PSA. Absolutely. Bye, Swami. We watched the last. Thank you, PokeGal. Pokemon rated once you have in this broadcast. He was saying it. One of his. Oh, that'd be great. Would like that. Hey, Christo. Honestly, I like CGG better as someone who does not have prior investment grading. Okay, they seem to be more consistent, and the subgrades are nice. Also, the label themselves seem nicer. That's true. I do agree with that. Aesthetically, slabs are better. I agree. Your thoughts?
CGC is nice. I mean, overall, I like the subgrades. It lets you know why exactly a card didn't get the grade. There was I think somebody tried to cross a BGS 95 plus plus, so it was 9.5 first edition Charizard, and it had two 9.5s and two 10s on the subgrades, and they tried to cross it over to PSA, and it didn't cross over. So to me, they were like, "Here's this one white corner, like barely," and they're like, "That's the reason." And to me, I'm just thinking, I just sent off this card that I pulled. It was slightly off center, and it has a little corner in the back, and it's still got a 10, and I still think it's 10 quality. But to
Mm-hmm.
me, without PSA having subgrades, I don't know their exact reasons for it. So I feel that you might just get cards that they just rush through, and they were like, okay, that looks clean, and it's still averaging a 9 or a 10, but overall, I don't know exactly why they did that. And to me, it doesn't help me understand what PSA focuses on more
That's
than
true.
CGC and BGS.
That's
Yeah,
true.
because each one focuses on different things.
That's true. Absolutely.
So
PokeGal says, "Oh, reach out to me. Great. Smash that like. Thank you, Geraldo. I don't think PSA deserve the Pokemon community the way they treat it." The comments on fire today. I agree. DJ in the chat. Yes, Pokemon website hints it. They said the October they're
yeah.
supposed to release the 25th anniversary set. Oh, that's good. I did not know
Mhm.
that. I'm gonna look into that. Madonna's releasing Pokemon. Friend at manager Madonna showed me proof. Oh yeah, it's been confirmed. Pokebeat about it in a couple.
Yeah.
Each card comes with five. Oh, anniversary Pikachu stamp. There's hey DJ. Very well. Spin backs. Looking good. Happy Now they're saying they're hungry because we're talking about McDonald's.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh man. Speaking of food, I can't wait to have something to eat.
All right, I'm just looking at a couple of. I don't think I see any more questions. Let me know.
No.
It's been 2 hours and a half, and I think we're good. Any more?
Yeah.
Pokey, who will win? Game stocks or Pokey stocks? That's. I'm gonna reach out to him. He's funny. Oh my god. Do you still shop at GameStop?
No. I with school and all the other stuff I do, I honestly haven't had time to play any video games. It's kind of sad. I would like to pick up a Switch, but those are probably like double the price right now.
Laser, what if the scalpers start buying the Happy Meal? Okay. Do you guys know that they came out Pokemon cards and cereal boxes? I don't eat cereals, so I don't know what box, what brand, what they were. But people were buying in my local supermarket. They were buying all those cereal boxes, then going on Facebook Marketplace and selling these boxes for $35. I seen it with my own eyes. Did anyone else see that too? They were
It's
flipping cereal
ridiculous.
boxes. 2021, you guys buying cereal boxes to flip for Pokemon cards for $35. I've seen. I would not be surprised if they're getting in line to get Happy Meal. They're selling cereal boxes or reselling cereal boxes. Not surprised.
Yeah. I mean, you get
Have you
free
seen
food. You get
that?
a Pokemon card that pays for the meal. So
Yes. Have you seen that? They were flipping cereal boxes. Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen it. The only thing I heard
Yeah.
was that he who shall not be named was trying to peddle it as this card was going to be 10,000. I don't know if it was a
Oh,
new joke
I
or a
know
meme.
exactly what you guys. I know what you're talking about. We can say his name.
Yeah,
Guru.
yeah. I
Guru.
I just like yeah. I just like it's funny to call him something else. What is it? So in Spanish, you call somebody like you can call somebody pelon, which means like they don't have any hair or something like that. So when I tell people stories about Pokemon, I call Guru pelon because he's bald and shiny. So that's usually what I refer to him as. But yeah, they were trying to sell those sets for like $500, and so I honestly have no idea. People are crazy. They're buying these things.
But there are many Gruels out there too. I mean, there's people hyping
Mhm.
Pokemon cards everywhere. Just basically saying, "Hey, this card's worth $20,000." You guys know what? I have no data to back it up, but it's worth $20,000. So I've
Mhm.
seen videos like that. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. It's bad advice out. My opinion. We got a hey Wyatt, and we have a card, Mr. Locket. Do you guys like Japanese Bandai card cardist cards? I don't. I barely collect any Japanese cards. So this one's definitely yours.
I never collected them. I've never even owned any. They never really appealed to me, so I never really collected them.
Um, you two are the perfect combination. Perfect and cute. Oh, thank you. Your girlfriend's gonna now kill me now. I'm just kidding.
She'll probably
Thank
kill
you.
me first.
Each Madonna Happy Meal would come with 3 card booster pack and a figure and a toy. Yeah, I saw that. Uh, I love it when ignorant judges you for what you collect and doesn't realize they're missing out. I agree. Um, exactly. It's been vulnerable because of a friend.
Oh, I
All
think.
right, you guys. Any
Oh,
other questions? Because I'm gonna go out, and I also have a
eat.
giveaway to do. Um, Jason Page takes down more nerd. Oh, I love Jason. I do. I have an autograph from him. I ordered it. I ordered. You know who Jason Page is?
Oh, who's that?
The guy that sings the Pokemon song.
Oh, I don't know them. I don't know them by name.
Oh, excellent. All right. Okay, guys. I think we're done with the chat. Do you have any final thoughts?
No, I just say, as far as the hobby, it's fun and to that last comment where, yeah, you do get judged, but it's not really about the money on that aspect where it's like, everybody's going to miss out on money and opportunities everywhere. But to me, the more valuable thing with the hobby was just the people that I've made friends with and the collections that I've found and chased after. It's been an experience. I say, like, whether nobody can stop you from being a flipper, or somebody wants to invest, or somebody wants to collect whatever you want to collect. I just say enjoy it. Like, no matter how long it lasts for, just enjoy it, have fun with it. Because that's the best thing. It's like you can look back and be like, I was part of this crazy thing. I was out there hunting Pokemon late at night with my friends, Pokemon Go, or we were chasing down Pokemon cards at stores, or I was grading cards and I got this big card back. So I just say, whatever you do, just enjoy it, and just enjoy the ride that Pokemon's taken us all on. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. And collect what you love. Absolutely. I always smart when it comes out.
mhm.
Thank you again. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
You again. Thank you for coming on.
Mhm.
Really appreciate ya.
Yeah, and good luck with your channel. I'm sure that with these other interviews, you're going to grow and your channel's going to grow, and you'll be able to help more collectors. I think that's one of the best things, is just helping each other out.
Yeah. All right. I'll take care. I'm gonna disconnect and I'm gonna do the giveaway and we'll go there.
All right. Later.
All right, guys. Thank you for all that. We only have 14 viewers, so thank you for sticking through it. So I have so there will be two winners as always. I got a lot of requests to bring back the last giveaway. A lot of people messaged me, "Hey, do that giveaway again." So you can have your choice. There'll be two winners. So if you win, you can either pick between the Japanese promo, the Charizard, or you can do the Champion's Path sealed promo. So there'll be two winners. The first, you guys can choose. The winners can choose whatever you guys want. So we're gonna do it exactly how I do it. I'm gonna switch to the screen, and you guys gonna pick 14 viewers, so 1 to 100, and I shipped out everything for free, no matter where you are in around the world. I ship it out for free. My thank you for listening us talk. Listen to me talk all things supporting guesses. So, all right, let me switch over the screen. 1 second, okay? That's Oh, sorry about that. Can you hear me now? Sorry about that. See, I'm still used to get this kind of. Nope. Oh my god, what is wrong? Oh, there you go. Okay, cool. So I'm new to this stuff. I'm learning day by day. I invested in a camera. It's gonna come in about 2 weeks. But I was saying with my camera's office that I went out to eat yesterday. I don't know what I ate, and I had a bad allergic reaction. My face is all swollen, and I was looking at myself in the mirror, and I was like, "Oh my god, my face is all blown up." So that's where I wore my glasses to cover it up. So, anyways, um, all right. Okay. Okay. I know I can't wait for the box break today. All right. So we got a couple of people. So just like the Price is Right, two winners. Number that's closest gets the prize. And obviously, if you hit it, you win. All right. Do you guys see the random number generator screen? Let me know, because I want to make sure. I want to make sure that you guys see, and I'm picking it up. So I want to make sure that. Okay, great. All right, I'm gonna click on it. So the first number is 68. Let's take a look. So if you pass 68, you're out. Closest win. God's Gift is not out. Peter, you're gone. But God's is gone. Bryce is higher. Adam's gone. Royalty, you're done. So far, Bryce. Oh no, Gerardo, 58. Okay, 58. No, no, there you go. Okay. Oh, 69. Oh, I thought it was 69. Bovella's out. Okay, Gerardo, you're the winner. You're the winner. Cool. You're the winner. So which one do you want? Do you want the Japanese or do you want the sealed Champions Path? Let me know. Let me know and I will send it to you for free. And you have me on Discord, so I will get message me your address. Okay, so second winner will be 93. Okay, 93. Let's go. 93. Okay. Peter, 72. Okay. Adam. I think Adam's the winner. Adam. Yep. Okay. So Gerardo and Adam. Gerardo and Adam. Perfect. I think that's it. Okay. Adam, I don't think we have each other on Discord. But please message me on Discord, which I need to put in my description, but I keep forgetting. Uh, but I put my Facebook and I put my Instagram, and that's how the last two people that got the product, they reached out to me on Instagram. Reach out to me on Instagram or Facebook and tell me which card do you want. And I'll try to switch over to the desktop again, which I don't know what I did. Okay, never mind. I don't know how to switch over to the desktop. Just tell me which card you want. You either want the Japanese promo Charizard or the Champions Path Charizard. I'll send it to you. See if you pick that. Thank you, everyone. I really support. I really appreciate you guys. It's been such a great journey, and I hope you guys will continue to join me. And I really enjoy doing this. I have a lot of guests coming up. I will be reaching out to other people to join me, and I really appreciate everyone. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I'm gonna go and eat because I'm getting really hungry. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye bye.